cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. Yeah, they know I'm a pro. Let's go, let's go. Let's go. If I go, I'ma get. When I flow, I'ma hit. And I know I'm the kid. I'm a soul, don't forget. I'ma blow up winning. Got my flow so vivid. Here we go, just beginning. Yeah, I throw every inning. Got my flow so legit. All I know is my shit. Here I go, they can win. Post Malone in this bitch. Rock star making hits. Got guitar in this shit. Leaving scars cause we lit. All these bars that I spit. Yeah. Let's go, let's go. Let's go. If I know what I want, then I know what I get. If I go, they can win, cause they know I get lit. I'm a pro, not a myth, and my flow got some wit. Never slow, drink a fit. I get hype, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. I get hype for this shit. Here I go, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. I get hype for this shit. Right.
I need your mic, too, because you sound so good, man.
Yeah, it's the MV7. It's like $250.
That's why he sounds so good.
And
$257 worth.
All right, so it's an XLR mic, so you would need like a mixer and shit like that. But they have one. The Rode Podcaster mic is like $100.
I have to ask, Cap, can you see through that shit?
No, that's the point. I need your mic.
You really can?
Too, because
Yeah.
you sound so good.
You can.
Yes.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Yeah, it's I don't know if you can tell. It's mesh.
Oh, okay. I can see
Oh,
that.
okay, cool.
Oh, you see that? It from when you back up, it doesn't look like that. You don't see like the eye shapes. You don't see that well.
Yeah.
All right, y'all ready?
Oh, let's go. I should have worn Punisher shirt. Punisher versus Daredevil.
RoboCop? Okay.
Love that.
Not 3, though. I love RoboCop 3. Don't get me wrong, but that movie's horrible.
No, it's horrendous.
The remake was fucking horrible.
What? I don't consider
yeah.
that. Man, nah.
That's
Yo, it's
right.
funny. The technology to make it better and you fail it. How is that possible?
Yeah.
Nah.
All reside for the Honorable Judge Toe Brown. Y'all may be seated, except for Lay. Lay don't sit.
Toe Brown
Yeah.
is a great name.
Yes. It was either that or Judge Toe Mathis, but Judge Toe Brown just rolled off the tongue better.
Rolls off the tongue.
Toe
Yeah.
Mathis is not bad, but Toe Brown is much better.
Yeah.
He said
Yeah.
I was waiting for rolls off the tongue too. I
Yes.
was waiting for that officially.
Yes, yes. All right, so we out here to reside the order of the court, case number 17626. On the plaintiff side, we have Star-Lord, and on the other plaintiff side, we have Lady Loki, and they both seem to be prosecutors as well. In the chat, I'm gonna need y'all to be quiet because this is a professional hearing. Now, I would like to hear all of y'all opening statements.
I'll give it to the blind man.
Yeah, I'll give it to the blind guy. I'll defer. I'll defer to the blind guy. By the way, accent sounds great right now.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
And let the record show that the blind man is the one wearing the red. All right, Cap. We're gonna start with you.
Thank you, Judge Judy, the executioner.
I
Ladies and gentlemen.
I like to play on words.
Ladies and gentlemen of the court and the jury, I am here in defense of possibly the greatest character ever in Marvel history, Sylvie, aka Enchantress, aka Lady Loki. And I'm here to prove to you that she was right and that Star-Lord, Mr. Quill, I believe his name is, was wrong. And I will be doing so because justice is blind, justice is balanced, and just because I can. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statement. Now we will turn the court to Lay. Lay, can you give us your opening statement, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, individuals of the jury, as in we live in different times, it's for all to be accepted. To the judge, thank you. To my adversary, that was brief and underwhelming, but still nice.
Objection.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll make something very simple. All I want is equal for what my client has been getting for years now. A choice was made, an emotional choice, at an emotional time. He was under distress. Now, the same choice was made by the defendant, but her choice affected way more than the choice of my plaintiff. So please, judge fairly, judge equally, but if you have to, judge harshly.
I unfortunately did not prepare a statement, but I did prepare a suit. So I automatically win opening statements. Thank you, Judge Toe. I believe the only one in contention here with my outfit is you and the blind devil. I am going to start off by saying that I am here not to judge, but to protect. To let everyone know that although things seem wrong and things seem right, us lawyers have a really fun time proving the other side. Is it because we're getting paid? Is it because we really care for people? Absolutely not. But what we do care about is a good show. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the pandas riding tricycles on my tie say good show. Judge?
Well, I would like to thank all three of y'all for making your opening statements. And I would like the record to show that Cabs is winning right now in the best tie of the night. And everyone in the courtroom that's on the other side, yes, Cap Devil might be blind, but he can hear us. Just because he can hear us doesn't mean he might not be blind.
He can hear us lying, which is even scarier.
This is true. So now, the opening statements have been arised, and they have been written down for the cinematographer at home. So, I would like for y'all to publicly display who y'all are backing.
You sound like Leonardo DiCaprio in Django. I'm having
I was going to say that,
love
dude.
this. It's
Yeah.
so good. Wow.
Yeah,
And
thank
now you have my attention.
Yes, yes,
I'll wait
yes.
for him to say that.
Yes.
Sorry for breaking
Yeah.
character.
No, it's okay. But I would like for y'all to discuss who you are backing and give us some evidence to support your case.
Judge, before we defer to the blind devil of red, I do have a question. Are we choosing sides between Sylvie and Star-Lord? Can we agree with both of them? Can we disagree with both of them?
Yes.
Thank you. Blind devil in red.
All right, this is a simple case here. A simple case of conviction versus non-conviction. Let me just say, we forget that Sylvie was taken as a small child and essentially sentenced to death for the mere fact that she was just a little bit different than the standard variations of Loki. So her actions would not have been needed had her oppressors not came in and took her and robbed her of her life. So everybody knew that her plan was to find the man at the top, execute him, and topple this whole thing. All she did was stick to her plan. Let's see here. I'm gonna refer to my notes that way I don't miss anything. So one of the major things here to consider is that he who remains himself said, if you kill me, this whole thing starts again. And he ends up right back where he started. So, as you know, my opponent here tried to point out that her consequences have a deeper grasp and a deeper meaning. They don't, because we wind up right back where we started. Now, there's some important things here to think about. There's 3 outcomes to this whole scenario. 1, he who remains does want somebody to take his place. All right. So if she kills him and restarts it, when they get to the point where they have to take Sylvie out, maybe they leave her alone. She gets her life because he already knows how it plays out if you let her. Scenario number 2, they prune her timeline and they actually prune her and she lives with the other Lokis in that dead zone. Which again, she gets to have some semblance of a life. No bad outcomes yet. Outcome number 3 is exactly what we saw. She kills him and the timeline resets. What I will say now, and I'm trying to keep it brief because I had a whole bunch of shit here, but so again, she had a plan. We knew what her plan was, and she executed the plan. She's smart enough to know, right, that her self-interest is not a valid reason to seize power, unlike our Loki. Because our Loki did not want to take over for the good nature of his heart. He's a selfish bastard. She's smart enough to know that her own goals and her own things are not how you would want to run an entire timeline. Where Star-Lord came up with the plan, made it abundant, or made it apparent, I should say, that it was his plan, then immediately shit the bed. And what did that do? That caused half the universe to die like that. So, had he had waited 30 seconds, he could have done exactly what he wanted to do, maybe even defeated Thanos and saved the planet. But no, because he's stupid, he's self-centered, he's only worried about himself. Where Sylvie is smart enough to know that she can't rule everything for everybody. And her, what I'm assuming
I object. He's badgering the witness.
What witness? There's no witness.
I just felt like saying that.
Yeah.
And while
I
we
could see it was weighing heavy
Yeah,
on Kaz to use that.
and while we have interrupted the Red Devil,
The plaintiff.
yes, I would like to state for the record for the cinematographer, he who remains is also known as the one who's left. All right, you may continue.
Yes. Thank you again, Judge Judy, the executioner.
You are welcome, but I would remind you to keep your comments short and brief because we do have to allow Lay and Cabs
Yes.
to state their side, and we need to call witnesses. There are 3
I'm
trials
I'm
on there
almost done.
tonight. I
I'm
am
almost
Judge
done.
Toe Brown.
So there are witnesses.
Got it.
Yes, you should have. There's a witness statement. Go
Got
ahead.
it. So the last thing I would say is the selfishness on Sylvie's part that might be brought up by my opponent is again not selfishness because she didn't want to grab power. Her life was taken from her. There's not a person on this panel, whichever way the wind blows here. I can't see anybody.
To your right. He is to your right.
I love it.
There's not a person on this panel that would not make the decision to topple whatever establishment robbed them of their life. So her decision was just, her decision was fair, her decision was the right one. Screw Star-Lord.
All right.
The two Utes.
The two what?
Utes.
The two Utes.
Yes.
What is a Ute?
Ladies and gentlemen of the court.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, lad.
Mrs. Riley.
My adversary here
Yes.
pointed out very well about the selfishness of Star-Lord. This I am not trying to defend by any means. What I'm defending, the point I'm actually trying to make is I want the exact same treatment he got for as long as he got it. For you see, my opponent completely forgets to mention the fact that a man that is as selfish and self-centered as Loki can recognize the greater evil and tell you not to do something, you think you would listen to him. This man knows evil because he has done it. And he's explaining to this young lady, no matter how old she really is, she's actually way younger to make a decision like that. And the variant, once again, that my opponent completely forgot to say is that if you get rid of me, you will get worse variants of myself. I am the best choice of the variant to have here. If you do not recall that, it's on Disney Plus. You can go back and watch the episode.
Well,
Objection. He's
It's that
pandering
simple.
and he's
That's
a shield for Disney.
that is pandering. That is
Yep,
that
yep.
is pandering.
I would
Put it
like.
out there. So I make like this. My point argument is a lot like a blade, right? This one-sided. He does not recognize the faults of his side. And this is exactly what Sylvie used, something of this nature, to actually destroy multiple timelines at once. Completely selfishly, unapologetically, and not for one moment thinking how many people will suffer because she decided I need to kill the man that took my life. But meanwhile, she was given a life. She had a drive. She had something to do. She had a goal. Before that, she didn't. Did she? No, she didn't. And I say it again. I'll make it very clear to everybody here. I'm not defending Star-Lord. What he did was moronic in every sense of the word. When Tony Stark is telling you not to do something stupid, think about how spontaneous Mr. Stark is, ladies and gentlemen. And he's telling you, just like Loki told Silver, don't do it. Listen to it. Please stop. Did it anyway. So you see what I'm saying, folks? My adversary wants to tell you that she is not selfish. She is actually motivated, she is motivated, but she is very selfish. Because now what happens? How many variants come through the different timelines and how many people get killed? While Thanos did snap away half the universe, that is one universe, one timeline. Now we have multiple affected.
Oh.
Who can say that Kang doesn't do that? One Kang, two Kang, three. Remember, the variants, that means many. One snap, many Kangs. You make the choice.
Hold on. I would like, before you proceed, I would like the quote to remain on the record, but the air quotations, because we have a very old cinematographer and she doesn't know how to write that down on there, to be stricken from the record.
Does she know how to write cinematographer?
Yeah.
Type that out.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Air quotes.
Yes.
All right. Are we gonna? I'm sorry, Judge. Were you done? May I proceed?
Yes. You may proceed or not.
So
before
this
we
okay. Go.
We do get a rebuttal, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to call
Yeah.
your first witness sometime soon.
Okay.
But Cabs, you may go.
All right. So, I am indifferent from both of these lovely gentlemen proving fantastic points. I
Phenomenal
believe that,
points.
I believe that they're both idiots. I believe that they're both dumb. They're both selfish. I would like to bring up something that the blind devil in red said. Uh, Sylvie lost her life. Now, if there's anything that Mr. Starlord, and again, I'm not excusing Mr. Starlord, I just want to show the court that both of these guys made moronic choices, and both of them are idiots. And you know what? I do agree. Maybe they should have the same treatment. Now, if there is one thing Mr. Starlord knows, is lost. He has lost the most important person of his life, unfortunately. That happened very early in his life. Also, not having a dad around, you can say that in one way or another, his life was stripped away from him. He has met more people that he can trust upon, as opposed to Sylvie. But that doesn't necessarily take away from the fact that he does know loss. And he knows one of the biggest losses in this world. So my thing is that if we are going to treat one unfairly, we should treat the other unfairly, because Sylvie, and although she was ripped out of her life as well, I'm not going to take that away from Sylvie, but there is something to say where, okay, we don't trust Kang, we don't know Kang, but Kang knew everything that was going to happen up until that point. So for him to just skew away from the reality of things, and we will find out in future events, for him to skew away from everything just to make Sylvie not try to kill him seems a little off to me. Now, clearly, there could be foul play. We were served a nice, cool plate of Kang, but I don't think we're ready for the leftovers, guys. I don't know what's coming, and if this indeed is the best version of Kang, albeit very mysterious and shady, if this is the best version of Kang, then I think Sylvie screwed us just as hard as Star-Lord. Again, I'm not taking away from any of them, but I think I think what Sylvie did could have just as much, could wreak so much havoc and so much chaos as Star-Lord did. I'm done with my statement.
I applaud your statement there. That was very insightful. We would like the court would like for the Red Devil to bring upon his first witness.
Okay. Before I bring up the witness, I just want to rebut a little bit here. So, if you want to talk about making the hatred equal, all right?
Mm-hmm.
There already was a time war between all the Kangs.
Yeah.
It happened already, and it resulted in what we have. Again, Kang said that this thing would just start again. He even said, "See you later," when he died. So we do know for a fact that, yes, maybe one or two Kangs are going to be evil, but we do also know for a fact that one or two Kangs will be on our side because they fight each other to find balance again.
Yeah.
So again, what she did is not on the same level to garner hate as Star-Lord, and here's my first witness to prove that. I would like to call Hawkeye to the stand.
Whoa.
All right, Hawkeye, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With an arrow straight through the heart, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Yeah, sure.
All right, you may proceed.
That was my best Jeremy Renner. What is going?
Hold up. Now we go.
I better never get for anything.
My cousin Vinny legit just showed up.
No, yeah, seriously.
Yo, hold up. Wait 1 second. We got disruptions in the court.
Sorry, Your Honor. My apologies for being late, but due to the pigmentation of my skin, I shall be allowed to be late.
I have one question. I have one question for you, Mr. Nuff. What are you wearing in my courtroom?
You told me I should wear a suit and only a suit. My bad. Let me hide those from the ladies, in the court.
Are you trying to sway our cinematographer into not writing the words that are said accurately?
Exactly. Whatever he said,
Oh man.
forget about it.
All right. Now, before I make you in contempt, we need Hawkeye to join the levy and become steady.
Judge Judy, the executioner. Are we done with all the shenanigans in this courtroom?
You will lower your tone when you talk to Judge Toe Brown. We will not have none of this farce in my courtroom.
None of this farce. Your man just came in here in a cowboy hat, totally disrespecting the proceedings here.
Listen, the entire store that sold suits were closed due to the flu.
Mm-hmm.
Objection.
it's
That's
either-
his line.
So
Hence
it's either,
hence why he's late.
yes, either he wears that ridiculous outfit or the leather that I hate so much. So he chose to wear that ridiculous outfit for me, Your Honor. Now,
Okay.
Mrs. Riley, and only Mrs. Riley, can you please bring Hawkeye forth and put him on the stand? Now, Red Devil, you may ask your question to Hawkeye.
Okay. So, getting back to the seriousness of the matter at hand.
This is very serious.
So, we know from the beginning that Lokis are villains.
Is that a question to Hawkeye?
Now, can I get to my shit?
Well,
So, They're
Judge, he's
villains.
being hostile.
yes, I believe so.
I think you should treat him as such.
you can't treat the lawyer as hostile.
You sure can.
This is my law. Proceed.
So, they're evil.
Fucking hilarious.
Jesus Christ. Judge Judy, the executioner, she's hamming it up. So, she's evil. We know this. They might have good tendencies here and there, but the entire show is essentially about a villain. Because even the Enchantress is a villain. We knew her plan. They made her the villain of the thing before the end. We get that. Star-Lord is a hero. So now I bring in Hawkeye. Hawkeye lost Natasha Romanoff. His entire family was blipped out. Hawkeye never once forgot what the mission was. Hawkeye did exactly what he had to do and didn't do anything stupid when Thanos showed up. He kept the gauntlet away. He gave it to other people when they needed it. He went back and defended everybody and fought off people. What did Star-Lord do? Star-Lord went off on his own, found old Gamora, who doesn't know him, tried to get with her, got kicked in the nuts, and then didn't show up again until the end of the film with the stupid look on his face like, huh? And, most importantly,
He was dusted.
I'm talking about the end of Endgame. All this is Endgame now.
You're correct. He was dusted though.
He was dusted though in Infinity War. That's why he
That's
couldn't do
completely
nothing.
irrelevant
Oh, really?
to my argument. Yes.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. Go ahead.
It's irrelevant to what I'm saying
No, I get it.
Objection,
I get
Your
it.
because he
Honor.
didn't.
I'm with you, I'm
Irrelevant.
with you.
Again, not only did he not really do anything during the battle with Thanos, where you could see Drax, you could see Mantis,
Yeah. Okay. I
you
see.
could
What,
see
I see what you're
Rocket
saying.
Raccoon and
I see.
Groot do way more shit than he did.
Mhm.
At the end of it, he was trying to find a way to trick his own crew into finding Gamora. Because apparently that one person is greater than the entirety of life itself. And you know it was a trick because as soon as Thor came up, he switched the thing real quick. Which means he's going to lie to his crew instead of being straight up. So the hatred that he gets, as shown by the exemplary example that Hawkeye is as a hero, the hatred that Star-Lord gets is warranted because he's supposed to be the good guy and he acted like an ass. Sylvie is not supposed to be the hero. She's not supposed to be the moral compass.
And she
She's a
acted like an
character
ass.
in her own show that was wronged and looking for her conclusion. So her hatred is not warranted. And if it is not warranted to the same level as Star-Lord.
I would argue that Star-Lord sort of fell into that role. You know, he wasn't always the hero either. And I think within time we might see Sylvie, who was morally great. I agree with you, Devil in Red. She's more, you know, she's not exactly, I wouldn't say she's good, you know, but she's there. You know, she's done some good stuff. Now, the one thing about both of these characters is they're sort of similar in the way that, you know, the upbringing, the way that they were raised. They weren't always good people, mixed in with wrong crowds, right? And ultimately led up to this. Now, one thing I would like to point out about Star Lord and him lying to his crew is that they all do that to each other. It's kind of their thing. Rocket Raccoon constantly lies to Peter Quill. Drax is busy
Drax is
trying to
too
be
simple to lie.
invisible. Yeah.
He's too simple to lie.
Gamora has to keep things from Peter Quill as well. It's just kind of what they do. So in a way, I'm not saying that your points aren't valid because Cap, Devil in Red, I respect all of your points. But again, it just seems to me that both of them do deserve equal amount of hate.
They
Because
didn't
both-
do an equal amount of wrong.
Oh,
They sure did. Well, here's the thing. The reason you're right there is because we have inconclusive evidence as to what's going to happen with Sylvie. This court is adjourned. We will reconvene after
Wait,
Kang,
I would-
after Ant-Man. And the
I
whole
would just like
I
to
would
throw
like
one
to
out.
remind. I would like to remind y'all that when you are done with the witness, you may say no further questions. But go
Okay.
ahead, keep going.
I would like to just point out real quick that there is a working theory that Kang is actually going to be stopped by the teenage Avengers,
I love
not the
that.
adult Avengers.
I love that.
So how big of a threat
This is
is he?
speculation.
That's one of the theories.
it's hearsay, but that's cool. No
Yeah.
I mean,
problem.
it is a theory. This is a court where we are spitting facts. Look behind the lovable and honorable Judge Toe Brown, where he, in fact, shows you where you can get said facts by dialing
Yeah.
1-800-FACTS. Shout
On
out,
the
Joe.
back of that, no further questions. Judge Judy, the executioner.
You will refrain from.
This is true.
This is
Now-
fun. This
now-
is very fun.
I have
Let-
no questions for Hawkeye. I do have a witness.
All right,
Oh,
you may
somebody that
call
was
up your
there
first
when,
witness.
When our Lady Loki made her fatal judgment that pretty much doomed us all. Loki.
Oh boy.
Can you escort
man
Loki to the stand,
there.
please?
I wanted to bring Loki up to the
Yeah,
stand too.
yeah. So
Yeah,
you will be able to cross examine the witness.
Okay.
Now,
Sure.
Loki, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Aye.
If you believed him, you're all fools.
So
His
Well,
hand was
this
placed
is-
on the Bible. This is a court of law where you cannot lie.
Well, yeah, yes, and also the burden of proof lies upon you. So he is innocent until proven guilty. So if he is lying, you must tell us that he's lying and prove that he is lying.
Okay.
I am a god. I am above this court.
That's a good Loki.
that's exactly what he would say.
This,
a good Loki.
this
I have-
for
I have
any other court that may be true, but this is Judge Toe Brown, and I'm not listening to you. I could have been a rapper, but now let proceed, Lay.
Mr. Loki, or would you prefer just Loki? Out of respect for the gentleman. See, not just Hawkeye, not Clint. Just saying, you never met. First and foremost, I want to ask you three very simple questions. Won't go no further than that. One, when you arrive to the pocket dimension that he who remains, or the one that's left, according to the honorable judge here,
That's right.
when you came into contact with the individual, what was the first thing you thought?
Thought.
Understood? Guessing this is not what you expected, correct?
Yes.
No.
Thinking something bigger, right? A little more dangerous. Two, did this individual not state very clearly that if he is killed, it will get worse from there on? Not only in this timeline, but in many others.
Yes, he did
And,
state that.
and just in case if anybody's wondering, this once again is on Disney Plus. Check out the stuff.
Is that
Yeah,
is
no
that your
problem.
is that your exhibit A?
That's Exhibit A. And third, the last one. And what lengths did you go to stop her from killing that individual? What did you do to try to stop her from making that fatal mistake that, in retrospect, if you think about, pretty much sealing our fate? What did you do? Did you not battle the young lady to the point and try to drive her, make her understand that if you can recognize this error, she should be able to recognize it? I mean, sir, with all due respect.
She also did use love to trick Loki. She tricked the trickster into knocking him back into another timeline so that she can, handle her biz.
And for the cinematographers at home, she is Lady Loki, and the one she killed is the one who's left, aka He Who Remains.
So, also if the God of Mischief yourself can recognize the threat level that is He Who Remains, or the one that's left, and you're warning someone of not the same experience that you have, yet a fellow Loki, but not one that has the same experience that you have in dealing with said individuals, a Thanos, a Kang, your father, these powerful beings. What would you infer would happen if she didn't listen to you?
Oh, that's hearsay.
Wait a minute.
Objection, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. You ended yours with a hearsay. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
You didn't call objection.
All right, I'm just saying it.
He did object.
That is honest to God. I'm following the rules that were set before me.
Hearsay.
I'm following the rules that were set before me. That's all. I'm following your lead, blind man.
I will allow, if we're gonna allow one, we will allow the other.
Exactly.
This is a fair courtroom.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, Late, when he did realize what she was about to do, he did try to stop her. She flipped on him.
He took out the sword that the young Loki gave her and fought her to the point trying to make her realize this is not a good idea.
I would like to cross-examine the witness. Cross-examine the witness.
Lay, are you done questioning Loki?
I told you just 3 solid questions.
All right. So, Cabs, you may now cross-examine the witness. You are still under oath, Loki. Go ahead.
Sir Loki.
That's God Loki to you.
God Loki. Big fan. I have one simple question. I won't put it in the form of a question because we'll have show say an answer that might be more funny than proving my point. I do appreciate your humor. Yes. But the one thing about Sylvie that Loki will tell you off rip is that if we're calling Star-Lord selfish and self-centered for what he did for Gamora and how he tricked his people to find the new Gamora, we can definitely say the same thing about Sylvie. Her motivations were clearly to take down the TVA. That was it. And whatever she found in the back of the TVA was going to get it. It doesn't matter if it was Kang. It doesn't matter if it was, another version of her, another Loki. It didn't matter. So if we're going to say that Star-Lord is selfish, and he is, Cap, I'm not taking that away from you. We also need to say it for Sylvie because Sylvie was just driven by one thing and one thing only, take down the TVA. She was very upset at Loki when he got her caught and back into the TVA. And what does she find in the TVA? That she's been chasing Ghost her entire time and then moving past the time splitters or watchers, whatever those guys, I forget their name. Once she passed that, she found Kang. So all of the questions, all of the hate, everything she had built up for the TVA was, I wouldn't say that it was not valid. Of course, they did terrible things to her. But once she got past everything for the TVA, once she went up to the time chamber and all that good stuff, once she went past that and found Kang, she no longer knew what was there anymore. She was so driven by taking down anything the TVA stood for that she risked it all, didn't heed any warnings from Loki, from Kang, still did it because she needed to finish her mission. And in a similar way, Star-Lord did the same thing. He heed any warnings from Tony Stark. He didn't think about what would happen after this. All he thought about was himself and him hurting Gamora and doing what he needed to do after that. I think they're both very similar situations. They're both very greedy. They're both evil people that are probably turned out good later on. So I think, I do get that Star-Lord is quite the meme and it's fun to hate on him. I get that. But I think they both made really poor decisions. No further questions, Your Honor.
One more statement. Not a question for the witness. You can go ahead and you can go ahead and leave.
Show
I have
Mr.
a
Loki,
redirect.
Mr. Loki,
show
Mr.
will
Loki,
be able to.
Mr. Loki, can I have my
triple
wallet
cross.
back, please, Mr. Loki? Can I have my wallet back, please?
And while we're at it, everyone in the courtroom check their pockets.
Yeah, please.
So-
It is Loki.
Hello,
It is Loki.
It's
Yeah.
Loki, Sylvie, and Star-Lord in the same room.
this is true.
Something's missing.
Oh, by the way, that's the point I wanted to make. Let's remember that Star-Lord was raised by Ravengers. He's a criminal, a scoundrel. Don't build him up to be something he's really not, sir.
Okay.
Remember, at the end of the movie, he does a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, a little bit of both.
I think Cap was
Oh,
waiting for
he's
that.
not Captain America, sir.
Yeah.
You just sprung the trap card. Cap was waiting for that. Look
Wait,
at him.
Cap, before you go, I would like to give Show an opportunity to cross-examine the witness. Show, do you have any questions for Loki?
Mr. Loki,
It's God Loki to you.
God Loki. Did you ever get something from Sylvie? I mean, let me know. I mean, you fucked everything up.
Objection.
Objection.
But
Sexualizing the witness.
It was getting there.
Sylvie,
It was getting there. It would have gotten there if she didn't kill Kang, quite frankly.
Very true.
They would have ripped apart the timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
By the way, that was really weird that they were feeling each other.
Yeah, I don't think. Look, I don't care. I don't care how hot she is. An
That's it, bro.
alternate version of myself from a different universe. I want no parts of that.
Well, Lawyer Cabs. I don't know if you know this, but you can't love someone else until you learn how to love yourself. So he was learning to love himself in one way or
And
another.
I can't stand myself.
So maybe you should give some good, sweet loving to yourself, and then we can see what happens.
That'll happen later on.
So
TMI.
yeah, there you go. Now, Show, I'm assuming that you are done with the witness. We are going to allow the Red Devil to cross-examine Loki.
go ahead, Mr. Red
All right.
Devil.
Before this becomes night court.
Great show.
I mean, great show. Yeah,
Great show.
we're almost there.
Jesus Christ, again with this.
That's sex court. That's different.
Another good show.
I used to
Senor
like that,
Loki.
yeah.
Damn the
if you
rules.
will. I have something to bring up here. You have said that he engaged in fisticuffs in order to prevent Sylvie from doing what she was doing, right?
Absolutely.
Now, was he doing that for the fact of saving the timeline? No. He was doing that for his own selfish reason to gain control of the timeline, which means Sylvie's choice is
He literally told her that he doesn't want power. That
Bullshit.
he said it.
yeah. He also said a whole
Sir,
bunch of other
sir,
things that turned
I
out to
refer you to
be
this
false.
clause.
He is a known liar, and you
Yeah,
cannot
refer
trust
you to
anything he
this clause.
says.
Well, then,
Order,
you know, that
order in the
is-
court. Order in the court. We
So,
are
again,
going.
I'm just saying.
Oh,
He said
over the
it. He
rails.
said it.
No, what
This
he
is a
says
different.
is
This is a
irrelevant.
different.
And
This
again,
is a different Loki now. This is
Again,
a different Loki.
she got
We
stuck-
saw
What's
the
going on, Jason?
character.
No,
We
no,
saw
no.
him build.
Yeah.
she got stuck in two different places. Either let Loki and his lying, manipulative ass ruin everything,
Mhm.
or again, have He Who Remains restart this thing.
AKA the
multiple
one who's
Kangs. We
left.
already know there's a multiverse war, and it will just, he said it himself, it'll just restart. He'll be right back there. So things would pan out. Now, with Star-Lord, nobody stopped Star-Lord because they were too busy executing his plan.
Yeah.
So you want to bring up that Sylvie was driven. Cool. What happened to the drive of Star-Lord? That went out the window quick. That went out the window faster than Thanos snaps his fingers. So the hatred
Going on, Blue
has
Cheese.
to be more on his side because he himself, Star-Lord, came up with a plan to stop the Mad Titan. and immediately, within 30 seconds, abandoned the plan and ruined it for Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Drax, Mantis, Spider-Man, who were all on that planet fighting for their lives, fighting for the lives of millions. Sylvie, she did what she told us she was going to do. There was no deviation. She said she was going to do something, and we watched her go through and follow up with it.
Right.
So how can you be mad at somebody who said, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it, versus somebody who's like, this is my, who turned around and said Iron Man has a shitty plan, came up with a new one, and threw it away immediately. That has to garner more hate. You can't hate somebody for doing exactly what they told you they were going to do.
I can hate somebody who's doing it if it's going to screw me over.
But it doesn't.
It does.
All right.
It's
So
true.
how is that?
We've yet to see.
You see it, but the point is, we know
it's coming. We know
No.
we're getting a Kang
616
variant.
is going to get it.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, 616 has been getting it since the
Yeah,
beginning
but-
of Marvel.
Let's remember this. 616 is first, then the other dimensions are getting. Once again, I'm telling you, is the scale
Actually,
of what we're talking about.
I'm not. We don't know that. When Loki went back and Kang was there, he was not in our timeline.
He wasn't in 616.
He wasn't
Yeah,
in 616.
That's what I'm saying. Is
We
So
don't know that
616
yet.
may not be
Uh-oh.
getting it first.
We don't know if
So-
we was in 616 or not.
So therefore, we have actual time to come up with a way to stop Kang. We had no time once Thanos was punched in the face. He immediately then got the time stone, went to Wakanda, fought everybody, snapped. That's it. Game over. We have time to prepare for Kang. It's going to take a while for all of his variants to come up, and by that time, we might be able to stop him before his shit actually takes effect. Thanos, we could not stop because Star-Lord is a moron. So when you can't go, so that's the difference.
No name
between-
calling here.
That's the difference between I may have done something that might screw us up in 2 or 3 weeks, but we might be able to prevent that. Versus Spider-Man, who let the criminal go, and now Uncle Ben is dead. See that? The hatred that Star-Lord has is warranted. Sylvie's is not. I'm not saying now. Hold on.
Okay,
I'm
go
not
ahead,
saying
go ahead.
that
My
she
bad.
is completely blameless, but the levels cannot be the same. They cannot be the same. The only way they could have been the same is if Loki ended with Kang murdering half the multiverse and no more movies. We don't get Shang-Chi, we don't get Spider-Man, we don't get WandaVision. He's already done it.
Okay.
And we know he hasn't.
So what's worse? So what's worse? What's worse? Knowing that your actions can, and this is not like going against you. This is asking it to the court, to everyone. So what's worse? Being in a situation where you can somewhat, I guess, determine the future, whether it was fake or not. When you show up in Kang's office, which was a pretty cool office, by that.
yeah, it was.
This
Really
is
was.
very,
really
this
cool.
is very true. That was a dope.
Seeing the timelines in the back, cool.
That was dope. Yeah,
So
that was great.
if you know that you can potentially prevent something 2-3 weeks from now, let's say, like you said, would you still have your selfish motivation stop that? Or, just throw it out of the window and still do what you are meant to do? You said that you were going to do it, we're going to do it. Or you devise a plan, everything's been going to shit, you finally got it. And then you hear horrible news about something bad happening to someone you love. And they had it right there in the bag. I feel like the more we explain it, I feel like the more it feels like a very similar situation. I get that the fate of the world was more at stake when Thanos was there, because they're in it. They're in it at this point. They are in the shit. We need to get rid of Thanos immediately. But Sylvie, and this is why I say that there has to be some type of equal blame, because both of them were in a situation where they could have prevented something. Now, do we know if taking the glove away from Thanos stops everything? I mean, Thanos is still a pretty powerful being with a hot army behind them. It's the Avengers. They would have probably ended it. And we know that the Avengers are going to do something to end Kang. But both scenarios seem more similar the more that we talk, where they both knew what can happen. They both knew the responsibilities. They both knew what could happen out of this. One person received horrible news about the person that he loves most and lost his shit. Where you have a calm and composed Sylvie who basically did what she was set to do already. TVA was done. Go live your life, mama. And you still, by your selfish needs, decided to, I don't care what is left. I am taking everything out of the TVA. I don't care what happens. But to me, they're both very similar situations. Both of them were equally selfish.
I would before you
I just want
before you talk cap, I would just like to say that LaFlaca says that we are all looking handsome.
Thank you very much.
I just want a clarification real quick. Is your question, what's worse, doing something with a consequence that can be dealt with at a later time and possibly averted, or doing something with an immediate consequence? Is that your question?
I was asking who's worse off there. Yeah, it was just
Cool.
But again, that was to the court. That wasn't to prove a point. But I mean, they took care of Thanos too.
You don't understand. I know my client is an idiot.
Yeah,
no mistake about it.
We know that.
A moron. Like, he is literally a moron. I'm being real here. But this thing is a moron getting emotional use. That's a horrible balance. Sylvie was driven, calculated, and committed, and still was warned not to do something, and she did it anyway. If that is not selfish,
she was warned by a known
liar. That is not selfish. Tell me what's the definition of really selfish is. You're told not to do something.
She was also warned by. She was
warned by him and Loki.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Loki would never warn anybody about doing anything stupid. But he's like, yo, wait. He's recognized. Hold up. Wait a minute. This dude is literally telling us and showing us it'll go to shit if we do this. Let's not do this. And it was still done. I get Star-Lord's point. Believe me, when he first did it, I was absolutely furious. I was in that theater like, yo, if I could find this dude, I'll punch him in the throat right now. Okay? But at the same time, same for her. You were told by the being himself, yo, don't do this. It's going to go left. And even Loki's like, yo, let's think about this before we do anything. Two people that have been around for so long and have been through so much are telling you, easy, and you still do it? How is that not selfish?
I just want to point out that Cabs, and again, for me, he's over there.
Yeah, that's what
you're actually correct. He's
that's what
he pointed out earlier that towards the end, he who remains was goading Sylvie into killing her.
I don't remember saying that.
Show, can you get the cinematographer to look that up?
No.
Thank you.
Check the tape. Check the tape.
But go ahead, Red Devil. Go ahead, Red Devil.
Wait. So I said that Kang, and I'm sorry if it was a confusion. I said that Kang told Sylvie what would happen if you kill me, and he already. Oh, what I said was he already knew how everything was going to end, but he still gave her the choice.
Yeah, but you also said that he seemingly switched from trying to stop her from killing him.
I didn't say Kang. I said Loki. Loki tried to stop her. That's what I meant. I meant Loki tried to stop her. Because he didn't try. Kang didn't try to. Kang told her like, "Yo, chill." But I meant like the fisticuffs that they fought, and then she knocked them to the other dimension so she could go and handle business.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Sorry, I am sorry, Blind Devil. I know that you hear through everything. And I do apologize for the confusion.
Real quick, I would like to introduce Toe Tags because he has some information that's pertinent to this case. Yo, what's going on, everybody? I'm listening.
Yo, son, you mad late. Where you been at?
Yeah, well, you know what it is. I'm spectating right now. You know, I'm jumping in and out.
Show came here early and you're late.
Well, listen, I was here, but I'm in the back. I'm with the cinematographer. I just want to, do a little fact check here.
Cool. I just want to do a little. Judge Judy the Executioner.
Oh well, no, I'm watching in the back. I see him.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, just interject here. Lay, you mentioned that Loki and Kang told Sylvie not to do what they did, but also when Star-Lord was pissed off and he was questioning Thor, everyone in that scene told Star-Lord to stop because they had
yeah.
Thanos. I just wanted to put that point out there for you.
No, yeah, we both.
Yo,
Yeah, Spider-Man said it.
everybody's
Tony said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony said, "Yo, it's almost off."
Yeah, yeah. I just
almost got it, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that point.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
no,
saying?
perfect,
But
no,
let you guys go back to doing your thing. I would also like to point out that Star-Lord was a crime of passion and Sylvie was premeditated. But y'all go back to your thing. Thank you, Judge.
It's funny.
Yeah.
That was part of my closing statement.
All right.
I was
sorry about
gonna.
that.
I'm so upset
Sorry about
because for my last closing statement, I was gonna be like, "Sir Devil in Red, have you ever loved anyone?"
Well, you can still do it. You can still do it. But are y'all done with the witness?
We are done.
All right,
I'm done with this one.
All right.
I was not aware Loki was still with us.
Yeah, he's still on the thing until I can tell him dismiss him. You may leave. Cabs, do you have
the alligator by this time?
Yeah, Cabs.
That's my star witness, but he's a little hungry.
Yeah.
This has been an hour already.
Yeah. Yes. Cabs, do you have a witness?
So I was going to bring up Loki, and Led already did that. I have no further witnesses.
Okay.
For this case.
Yes, for this case. Cheryl, do you have any witnesses that you would like to bring up?
No. Yeah,
All right. All right. If there are no further witnesses, I would like to hear y'all closing statements.
I would either to the gentleman dressed extremely sharply, or to Caps.
Look at the time. Look at the time.
To a DD or to Caps.
So
Cabs,
I will say this.
Yeah.
I will say this. When love is mixed into things, crazy things happen.
Ooh, that's a poet.
One of the main reasons that everyone gave Star-Lord so much shit is because the love in his life that made him act the way he did was not a love of a nurturer, a caregiver, a life giver. It was but a mere girlfriend. So that automatically makes the average person like, whatever. But let's say that it was love for a different person, someone more important, like a mom, like a dad, family. And I'm not trying to disrespect the love of a girl, but I know the Devil in Red. And he has often said in this very podcast that women in movies and love in movies tend to mess shit up. So I think that his biased opinion about Star-Lord is solely driven by that. Had it been the news that Thanos maybe took out Peter's mom or a dad or anything, I think that the blame would still be there, but it would be a lot less intense. Now let's look at Sylvie, who wasn't driven by anything but rage and hate, not love, not that beautiful warm feeling we get from a hug and a kiss from someone important, or when you microwave the food perfectly, that you don't got to put it back in. It's a great feeling.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It wasn't driven by anything warm and bubbly like that. It was just sheer hate for the TVA. And once she took down the TVA, she made it a point to continue the rage and not only break the trust that she's had with Loki, but kill the person who has been watching our timelines closely for years, who has kept us safe from other variants of himself. Now, I am not saying here that any one of these two is less or more to blame. I'm just saying the blame should be equal. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, podcast, vote wisely. Vote with your heart, like Star-Lord did. I'm done, Your Honor.
Hold on, before you guys speak, I would like to
Can I please go next?
Well, I think we can cover.
all right.
Go ahead, Cap.
Go ahead, Cap.
So,
Your closing argument.
ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Your Honor, my fellow lawyers here, combatants, I was asked if I've ever felt love, and the answer is no. But since you want to bring up love, simple facts of the case are Sylvie, the woman, finished her job and came to completion. Has there ever been anybody mad of a woman coming to completion? I say no.
Mm.
Now, Star-Lord, as the typical man, if he would have just lasted 30 seconds,
Whoa.
everybody would have been happy. But no, he was premature, and everybody hates prematurity. So,
Right.
if you want to take the facts into consideration, does prematurity deserve the same level of hatred as to completion? You are mistaken if you think they do.
That was good.
Sir, women never complete. That is a myth.
You did.
I'm telling you right now,
No, that
then
is a
you were
lie.
doing something wrong. Anyway,
No. Sir, look at my tie.
this closing statements.
I've made
This
some
closing
girls
statement.
complete in my time.
This
Okay?
is true. This is true.
It's one of those pandas. One of those times.
That's right. When,
With the panda tie on.
I would like to point out that the man with the
technically-
panda tie is, of course, knowing that women don't go to completion because pandas don't
Hey,
mate either.
hey.
But anyway,
technically, when I'm done, they're done. But go ahead, complete your statement.
Sir, I would like to present to you how much I've completed. Do you see that picture over there?
No,
I actually,
yeah,
don't.
we actually.
You
I
can't
can't.
see
Not,
it?
No.
Well, oh wait,
Well,
yeah,
I am blind.
it's small. It's small.
There's two big heads over there. One of them is mine. The other one is my seed.
So yeah, no, he has completed. This is true.
I am
Well-
the epitome of completing.
Well, you technically
before
you
we get-
completed.
I
She may
completed.
have nodded.
I completed.
But when you are done, she is done.
I prematurely completed. No.
Back to my
Okay,
argument.
back to our argument. And
Back to my argument.
while I do appreciate your comedic approach to the,
That's gonna be
to
hard
the
to beat.
situation at hand,
Back to the argument here. So,
I will
in
say,
closing,
go ahead. Yeah.
in closing, the level of hatred again has to be appropriate. One, immediately caused the death of half of the known life in our universe, or the 616 universe. The other has unknown consequences because we already know that there was a multiversal war previously, and we know the outcome. We know that
Bless
this
you.
will spark a new multiversal war,
Mhm.
which again, there are kangs that will be on our side.
Mhm.
So the consequences might not even come at all.
To
We might be
completion.
able to come to we might be able to get to a conclusion before any drastic measures have been affected. Therefore, the level of hatred for Sylvie should not and cannot be as high as they are for Star-Lord. That's how you must vote. That's how the facts weigh out, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. So please take that into consideration and vote and judge the way this is supposed to be.
If it pleases the court, can I bring in one last final witness?
At the closing statements? What the
Yes,
It pleases the court.
it does please the court.
It pleases the
fuck?
court.
I would like to bring to the stand Dr. Stephen Strange, MD.
Say what?
I only have one question for you, Dr. Strange.
It's Doctor Strange.
It is Dr. Strange.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Doctor Strange?
I do.
He does.
He does.
Dr. Strange. After Peter Quill did what he did and messed everything up, you went into a state. You fought the Mad Titan, and you fought him well. Kudos to you. I do have a question. You being the keeper of the time stone, the sole protector of the Sanctus Sanctorum, did you not see this happening? And was this not the only way? Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case.
I had to cross-examine this witness.
You may,
Yeah.
but keep it short.
Yeah, Dr. Stephen Strange. So Sylvie did what she did, and we've argued that point, and I've made my closing statements, so I don't know why we're doing this part. But anyway, one question for you. Now, Wanda Maximoff,
Here we go.
Peter Parker, are they not more threats to the multiverse immediately?
Wait. You cannot bring up Peter Parker because that movie has not come out and we don't want any kind of spoilers for any kind of thing that's happening. So that will be
First off-
stricken from the record.
No.
Cinematographer stricken Spider-Man
Dang.
from the
Yo,
record.
No.
Please.
You don't wanna
Thank
The
you.
know that
trailer's out.
Spider-Man-
Yeah, I
We all
don't-
know
Spider-Man.
what's in the trailer.
I have not seen the trailer. I am
It's
a
not-
law-abiding citizen. I am Judge Toe Brown, and this is my courtroom. I am the law. Show,
Yo.
are you wearing a scarf
yo.
in my court?
Judge Judy, that's incorrect. Everybody knows
Okay.
what the
Thank
hell
you, yo.
is.
Nobody,
in the trailer?
no one knows.
So you're not gonna let him answer my question?
He can answer the question about Scarlet Witch, but not about Spider-Man.
This is a
Scarlett
kangaroo
Johansson?
court. This is a kangaroo court. There will be no justice served.
You do not call me an animal. If anybody's calling somebody an animal, it's show. Call him an animal for me, please.
Like, congratulations on your victory in this case, because clearly
Right.
there's no justice.
Hey man, I haven't done the closing statement yet, so I can fuck that
No.
up easily.
Right now, you are talking about events that have not happened yet.
Dude, the whole argument is about events that have not happened. Kang has not showed up.
Yeah.
So you
Oh, he
cannot.
will.
If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
No, we don't have
Sure.
the argument is not whether or not Kang destroys us. The argument is, was Sylvie right, and does she deserve the same amount of treatment that Peter Quill has gotten for his actions? That is the argument. That is the case that we are in.
Yeah, but your boy brought up a witness that has nothing to do with that case, and then try to make a point off of it. So now I'm cross-examining to try to negate that point.
Was Doctor
Was
Strange,
Doctor Strange
there?
not part of it?
Was he not there when Peter Quill punched Thanos in the face and ruined their plan?
Yes, but is Doctor Strange not also there where two other people have done more harm to the multiverse?
None of those people had done harm to the multiverse at that point. None of them had.
Sylvie hadn't done harm to the multiverse at that point either. We're arguing this. Yo,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
holding
she-
you guys in contempt.
She did.
No.
She did. Well,
Listen.
no. What I'm saying is, at the end of Endgame, there was no multiverse stuff. Multiverse started
Listen.
all after Endgame.
The-
And Sylvie understood multiverse. She understood what's going on the TVA. She still did what she had to do.
Listen,
My witness stands.
that's right.
And
The
I'm
rules
using
of
your witness
engagement.
to show
No,
that
no.
there's two other
No.
people
No.
who may have done shit
listen,
more.
The rules of engagement are we will testify what we have seen. WandaVision has been shown to completion already.
And the trailer has been shown to only argue what the one thing I
But the
needed to say.
but whether you have seen the trailer or not leads to speculation. There have
It does
been
not. It's
there has
yo.
been no explanation of what's happening.
Yo, Cap got me
This is
dying.
bullshit. This is
No,
complete bullshit.
if you want to cross-examine the witness based upon the Scarlet Witch and her experience, you may do so. But if you want to bring in future facts that have not been proven yet, you may not.
such as the multiversal war and Kang being a real threat.
We saw that.
Kang has
When?
explained that
Show
the
us
that.
multiversal war
though.
has.
We
When
saw
did we see
that.
that?
He's explaining
He-
it to us as
he
he's showing us
explained
like,
it.
yo,
He
they
showed
have-
us how
they
they
have
got the
fought each
multi
other.
dimensions.
Yeah.
They
And-
cross
But
over
he's
the
sitting
multi dimensions,
in
and
the
that's how he
room
became the
on
one who's
Disney
left.
Plus.
And they explained the same thing in the shit that I'm apparently not supposed to talk about.
To be fair to Cap, we had some rumblings in Spider-Man: Homecoming about the multiverse. So I'll give you that, Cap. I'll give you that.
No further questions. Go ahead, lady. Do your closing
No, it's
statements.
okay.
Oh,
It's okay.
brother.
I want to ask Dr. Strange one thing.
Yeah.
How bad is we fucked up your life right now? 'Cause you got to deal with all this shit at the end of the day.
Objection. Badgering the witness.
The other
Hold on,
two
wait, hold on.
fucked up his life.
No,
Wait,
I'm just
wait,
saying.
The other
I'm just
two.
saying. I'm asking him a question. Yo, listen, you asked him. This is a witness I have not spoken to yet.
I should have never bought a
How,
box.
how messed up is
Yeah.
your life going to be?
I did
Correct.
this on-
I did
it on
Let me put
purpose,
in a
though.
more
Well-
polite way,
Well,
in a non-New York way. how messed up is your life going to be now?
Well,
'Cause you got to deal with the ramifications.
to be honest with you, Lay, that is also speculation because we have not seen any kind of backlash on Doctor Strange.
Mhm.
So that question should be stricken from the record as well. But you may continue with yeah, no.
Let's go to
Hey,
closing
listen,
statements.
you may
All right,
continue with
understood.
your closing statement.
We
All right,
have two
so-
more cases.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the court, jury, individuals, I stand corrected, excuse me. Very simple. We have two very similar cases in many ways, but one is very, very obviously a crime of complete passion in the moment, getting, traumatic news in a moment where you're supposed to be composed. I mean, could you imagine doing that? You're in the middle of whatever important job you have, and all of a sudden you hear some devastating news. What's your first reaction? Could it be rage? Could it be sadness?
Probably punch somebody in the face.
Could it be a little bit of both? You never know. Now, the other one is simple, cold, calculated hate, period. Metagold did it, took down the TVA, realized there was something behind that and kept going, but was warned by the individual itself that was the victim and by another version of themselves. Two individuals way more experienced in these worlds and understands the ramification of what's happening. The individual that was murdered literally explained right in front of them with pictures, with models, what happened right in front of them.
They were
Yeah,
moving.
literally with models, showing them this is what happened. This happened.
Like
Variant,
claymation.
that happened. Yet, literally with malice in her heart and anger and rage, but cold and very cocky and understanding what's happening, fought herself, very nerve herself, to complete the mission that was told don't do by two individuals. And did it on a level that, which is right, we have not felt the ramifications. But who's to say it's not worse?
But we will.
Who's to say it's easier? You see,
Excuse
it's the
me.
devil that you know and the devil that you don't know.
I would argue that ramifications were felt immediately when Loki went back into a different timeline.
So yeah. And I'm saying is
But
This-
it wasn't
this is-
half the population
devil-
getting dusted.
Peter Quill was a devil that we knew. We knew what was going to happen with that if they didn't complete it. This is a devil we don't. So now we sit and wait because somebody decided for all of us, literally in one stabbing motion for all of us, that she knew what was best. She may have not known it, but she did that, ladies and gentlemen, period. She thrust that blade into the torso of He Who Remains, or the last one left on the house on the left.
Right.
She did it, ladies and gentlemen. She made a choice for all of us. And none of us had a say in it. So, you tell me, is this the kind of person you want not to get the exact same kind of hate that Mr. Quill is getting? Once again, simpleton. Know this. Here, more intelligent, more cold, more calculated. Passion, planned out. And a choice made that we will all one day suffer for. No matter what, my adversary wants you to believe. Might? No. Inevitable? Yes.
We have to look back on this episode later on to see what happens. Like after Ant-Man comes out, we gotta come
Yes.
right back to
Oh, yeah,
that.
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
I'm
I'm
just
with it.
glad that I had the choice when we all got snapped up.
Well, hold up. Well, all right. So, Show, we would like to hear your closing statements.
My closing statement is I feel Brother Loki, or God Loki, attempted to act like he was going to try to stop his girlfriend. So he's kind of guilty. 'Cause-
Yes.
he has to be kind of guilty because
This is what we've been waiting for the entire night.
his wife is
What do you think about Peter Quill?
Peter
Now-
Krill.
Peter Krills.
Yeah, Peter Krills.
Krills. A partner Krills is here.
Peter
Okay.
Krills.
Peter
It's
Krills.
official.
Yeah.
It's official.
Now, Show, is it his girlfriend, his wife or another version of Loki? Because we're all confused here. Which one are you talking about?
This is
The other version
Like-
of Loki.
the other version of Loki that he fell in love with. I mean,
There you go.
unlike our boy Cap, most people love themselves.
I do not love myself.
Neither do I.
You say you wouldn't want to be with yourself, so
I would not. I would not. Would you want to be with yourself?
hell
No,
yeah!
I would
I
not.
know
I would
exactly
not.
when to shut up. I know exactly when to speak.
Cap, you see what I'm saying? Cap, don't let the narrative fool you. Me and you agree on a lot more things than this show lets off. We do. Don't let the narrative fool you. We agree. I'm telling you, we do. These guys like to put fuel on fire.
Oh man.
So, show your closing arguments.
Closing arguments. This is a story of love. Two men in love with two beautiful women,
He's not wrong.
and
Gamora is definitely beautiful. I prefer Gamora over Sylvie.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Can the cinematographer write down in the court know that green bitches are hot? Thank you.
with or without the green paint.
I
Both.
like with no. I also like the cinematographer. Sorry, I would also like you to write that. I like a little green in between. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
right.
and I would like the cartographer to
There you go.
put on the record that this is a kangaroo court and it's a sham.
That would be stricken from the record.
Perfect. I would like the pornographer to put
And the cinematographer, can you put porn in parentheses and quotations?
I'm gonna start an all alien porn magazine called Green Betweens.
That's it.
Ooh.
Let me guess.
Ooh,
It's out
There's
of
gonna be
this
a whole
world.
lot of bush in
All right.
that.
So has everybody
Yo.
finished their closing statement?
Aliens probably have hairy. Yeah, it's probably bush.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Ooh,
I don't mind.
Very nice.
Keep it natural. Keep it
That's it.
natural. I
That's
don't mind.
it.
Keep it natural. That way I know you're not fucking around.
Word.
If you're not shaving, it's not in use. That's how I look at it. Yeah. If you're not shaving, it's not in use.
And
What?
that's words spoken from a true pimp. All right, so has
Shut up.
everybody finished their closing statements?
Sure.
All right, we will now go into deliberation. Show, can you hit the Law and Order beat?
I came in here.
Thank you.
I came here trying to be Jack McCoy, thinking about it. I actually watch episodes. I was like, how did Jack McCoy do it? My favorite lawyer in TV,
All
Jack
right.
McCoy. So I'll go.
So,
Verdict is in.
hold up. We like the chat.
Wow.
Can
No
they-
deliberation, huh?
Well, the chat will deliberate right now, and they will decide who's guilty is not, and we will also deliberate, me and Show, amongst ourselves, and we would have a 50-50 vote.
I don't think the court knows anything that we're talking about.
It's all right. So, chat, does Sylvie deserve the same amount of aggression and blame, vitriol? Thank you for the big word. I needed it.
Gotcha.
Vitriol that Star-Lord, aka Peter Quill, had when he punched Thanos. Does Sylvie, when she killed the one who's left, deserve that same kind of treatment? I want y'all to vote right now. If she's guilty,
Yo.
put 1. If she's innocent, put 2. And if no one votes, I swear to God, I hold you all in contempt of this fucking court, because you don't know. I know exactly where you live. I know your social security number. And look at the face on Show's face right now.
I got a question for the jury before they go into the room.
What? That's a guilty. The ties a clip on.
Sir, this tie is not a clip-on.
Word.
I think he's talking about the judge.
No,
Oh.
this is not a clip-on tie.
Yeah,
Neither.
say that.
Hmm.
No,
Oh, no,
I
no,
tried
no.
that
I
for
am
him
100.
2 years ago.
Yes, I am 100% authenticated. Thank
Just
you.
to let you
Now,
know,
And
This
don't
this is skin. So
Word.
it can't be me. This is
and
skin.
don't let me show you. This is the
Whoa,
this is
whoa.
a Tommy suit now. It should cost
Nice.
a lot of money.
right
Look at
now,
that. He's got that Tommy Hilfiger.
if she's
No,
guilty,
It's Hill. It's
That's
Hill.
what happens
It-
when Prime hits you up
that's
to
right.
use your account.
if she's
You can
guilty,
afford
press
that.
1. Put 1 in the chat. If she's not guilty, press 2 in the chat.
So the ties
Well,
a clip
Pro,
on.
Pro
Well, I
Wrestling
don't-
Podcast already said guilty.
I do have a question for the jury. How many lives? I know how many lives Peter Krill's
Quill, like the
Quill,
duck.
Quill. Peter
my boy
Quill.
Krill,
Yeah.
Peter Quill. I know how many lives his mistake cost, which is half of the world disappeared,
Half of the universe.
half of the universe. How many lives did Sylvie's mistake?
Yet to be determined.
Cost?
Well,
TBD.
technically, she did kill one person.
Yeah.
Yes.
TBD.
The
And
one
not only
left.
that,
She
we
did
don't
kill
know
one
what's up
person.
with. Yeah, she did.
Oh,
She did get
and,
one, but
And she
not
chopped the head
half-
of a couple of robots.
Robots don't count.
robots. Don't count.
Yeah.
They're not people.
Robots don't count.
Outside of the
We-
realm of the world, robots do not count.
Wait a minute. Didn't she kill a bunch of TVA agents?
Nah.
That's a lie. Yes, she did.
She's
She's
not.
been killing
She's,
TVA agents for a long
they
time.
go.
No,
They
no.
go
When
back
you
to
get food,
the.
they go to that place.
yeah.
They don't necessarily die.
Oh, that's
like that
dumbass
dark. It's
place?
that dark
That's true.
world
Okay.
where we
But
see
you killed
Kang. Where we
one
see
person,
Kang
so-
Tower.
Yeah, she killed the person you shouldn't have killed.
Yeah,
So-
she killed the
Put one for
person.
guilty, two for innocent.
The one on the house on the left.
That's
We
right.
have, we have
The one
one
who's left.
guilty. We have
Which-
one guilty.
Which case is next?
Are we gonna do the Cap case next?
Oh, we'll do Ultron and we'll end with the Cap case.
Oh, thank
Okay,
God
cool.
I could take this shit off.
Yeah,
Yeah, listen, man, you're robbing us of your
Yeah.
beautiful eyes.
this is true. All right, so
There
show
he is.
show
Just let me know when the cap case
Right.
is on because
I can see the relief in him. I can see
Yes.
the relief.
show me and you will deliberate right now whether they are guilty or not. You cannot take any advice from the other lawyers in the building, and this has to be solely based on your opinion, based on the facts that are brought up upon the case, and also he did not fuck the Lady Loki.
Wait, Monica Lewinsky was in this. Ooh.
She was one of the people who got snapped from Peter Quill. All right, so based off of what you heard, Joe, do you find Sylvie guilty or not? Does she deserve the same treatment as Peter Quill?
I don't think so. For the simple fact that the effect of what she did is to be determined. That's why I was asking. Yep, Peter Quill's mistake.
Just call him Krills, man. Just call him Krills.
Yeah, I'll just call him Krills.
Just call him Krills.
Star Lord.
Yeah,
right.
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord mistake caused half the universe. Matter of fact, it caused my boy Hawkeye's family,
It's
which
true.
is the same issue. Why you going crazy? My boy was going crazy. He turned into Ronin too. So you causing problems everywhere, bro.
Thank you. I was gonna say that,
phenomenal.
but thank you for saying that. I was gonna say he became Ronin. He wasn't exactly a great guy. He was murking off everybody.
Oh,
I mean, he
killed
made Echo.
Yakuza. Oh.
He made Echo.
So I
Didn't he?
think
Hold on.
Star-Lord
You
is
cannot
wrong.
you
It's
cannot
wrong.
be swayed in this
No,
deliberation. Yeah.
I forgot to mention Ronin for some
Yeah.
reason. I don't know why.
So, all right. So you say that she's not guilty.
I don't think she's as culpable as Star-Lord. So give her manslaughter. Give
Manslaughter.
give him
I mean, she
capital
did murder
murder.
somebody.
Sorry. So
She did murder somebody. So I mean,
Yeah.
she did.
so you agree with Cap that she deserves some kind of blame, but not the same blame as Star-Lord.
Correct.
Okay. And apparently no one in the chat has any kind of balls.
Well, the pro wrestling says she's
He
guilty.
did say guilty.
He also said 3. Wait, he demands a retrial. Hey,
Damn.
hey, when we find out what happens
After Ant-Man, you'll get your
Ant-Man.
retrial.
Yeah, yes.
we
absolutely.
can you can't go to the Court of Appeals and we can have an appeal on the decision.
You
Yeah.
get it after Ant-Man.
That-
Well,
this
no,
is true.
Ant-Man
This is the way the judicial system works.
But Cap is often right about everything, so
Listen.
we'll see what happens after Ant-Man because he be right about
Listen.
shit.
Did you say the court of jujitsu?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
I
So
thought I misheard that.
so we have a guilty in the chat and a not guilty in the deliberation.
So it's down to the judge.
It's down to the judge.
No pressure.
No pressure. Well,
No pressure.
at any moment, anybody in the chat can put down a 1 for guilty or 2 for not guilty.
It's funny. Pro Wrestling Podcast just put 1.
Yeah, I've seen it. But yo, if they're following the 10-step program, and yo, step 10 now would be put 1 or 2 in the chat, and then step 11 would be go fuck yourself. Don't go fuck yourself before you put in a vote. But
Before you like and subscribe.
yes. Now, Cap does bring up a point. She went there solely to kill this motherfucker with no equivocation. You know, despite Loki's best effort to stop. Now, that could have been a way, you know, Kang saying all that shit would have happened for her to stop and not kill her. Because he did try to bribe them. You know? And Quill had the same warnings. And Peter Quill knew beforehand the veracity of Thanos getting all of the rings together. There's another guilty in the chat. So the problem here is, one is, like Lay said, a crime of passion, where Mr. Lord, Star-Lord, did not have a moment to think of his rationality. Because if we all been in a place of anger, anger takes us over. There is no rationality, there's no thought, there's no reason, there's no rhyme. But also, when you live in a place of hate, hate leads to the dark side. And there cannot be no light that shines in the dark side. So we are arguing the same thing on different scales. I would have to vote that she is guilty. And we shall judge her the same way we do Mr. Star-Lord. Because it's not like the outcome of both of their crimes just affected them. It affected the entire universe and multiverse. So as a man of the law, we have to treat both of them as an adult, and we shall send them to prison. So the votes have it on the charges of equalocity.
I'm with you.
Equilibrium.
Yes. The equalocity and the synergy of
Equality.
of blame when it comes to irrational movement. We find the defendant, Silver Lady Loki,
Silver Lady Loki.
guilty of all charges. You may now hit the tone show.
Shaking hands. We're shaking hands.
Oh no, I'm finding somebody in a back alley.
You got
Rage.
the suit, bro. You got to put the suit
Rage.
back on to hurt somebody.
Put the
Yeah,
suit back on. Put the
yeah,
suit back on.
yeah.
You got to put the suit back on to hurt somebody.
It ain't no thing to put that back on.
Oh,
Yo,
yeah,
son,
yeah,
look,
yeah.
basically, we just put Star-Lord back out there for you. Go get him.
Yeah, there you
Go
go.
get him.
There you
He's
go.
out there for you,
There you
bro.
go.
Go get him.
All right, this subject of court has been adjourned, but now we have the matter of case 7257, or as show likes to call it, 7070.
That is
77 out of 100.
Yes.
That number was strangely close to the number of my building.
Nice.
7275. That's crazy.
Well, because the incident happened right next to your building.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true. I know Tony Stark personally.
Yes. All right. All rise for the Honorable Judge Toe Brown. All right. Now, show. Today's case was Tony right in building Ultron? Now, I would like for the lawyers to explain the side that they are on and give an opening statement. We will let Lay do the first opening statement.
Wow. Okay. Didn't expect this one. I believe Mr. Stark's mind was in a very traumatic state at the point.
I'm sorry, this is for Pro Wrestling Podcast. Nah, we slacked up, yo.
Yeah, but,
I got a short tongue.
the gentleman had been through so much, and he had caught a vision of what he believed the future would be, which was true. But how do I say this in a very politically right way? He fucked up.
Mhm.
Essentially, trying to protect the world, he doomed it in its own way. So his mind, his heart was right, but his mind was way off. By the way, let us be honest and also blame Bruce Banner. There are two
Yeah.
parties in this. We do not just leave one party out there. Bruce Banner was also part of this. So make sure they're both guilty. I believe he made a horrible error and he was wrong. So, ladies and gentlemen, please understand this was all Tony's ego driving him.
Beautiful opening statement. We will now go to Show. Show, can you give us your opening statement? Beautiful opening statement.
Here we go. It's the money one right here.
Tony Starks. He got a lot of money, right?
True. He does.
Right.
Yep.
So why not be like Elon Musk and build shit? I mean, you never go wrong. You build Ultron. What was the name? Ultron.
Dutron.
Ultron.
My man built Dutron.
Dude, Dewdrop.
You built Dewdrop.
Oh shit.
This is
Oh man. So yeah, let that man build whatever he wants. But go ahead.
So just to be clear, your opening statement is everything Lex said was bullshit, and I have to stricken that record from the record except for thank you.
All right.
apparently, I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't understand what he just said, but I'm with it.
Yo, he built Dutron, and he's rich, so fuck it. He's right.
Yeah.
Dutron is gonna be part of Diamond Comics.
Yes.
That's one of our first main villains. Dutron.
Dutron. All right, Show, thank you for your eloquent opening statement. Appreciate you.
It was almost like a soliloquy. That was good.
Yes. You would have to keep your opening statement down to at least 5 minutes, but we appreciate you showing up to the court. Now, Cabs, are you ready with your opening statement?
I am, Your Honor. A wise man once said, by the name of Moiza Azim, he said, when people try to find peace in Gauntlet, destruction made its way forth with a sign that says infinity ahead. Now, man often builds the weapons and machines that they feel will bring upon peace, and it never does. It is man who has created their own weapons of destruction that they use against each other. So the question that we really need to look at here is, was Tony's heart in the right place? But like I just said, when you try to build peace, war often follows. It's very sad. Now, I know a lot of people look at Tony, drunk, wild man. But Tony has saved the world a couple times up to this point. Tony was tired. Tony was very tired. And while building Ultron might not have been the best thing to do, we ended up receiving one of the world's best heroes because of it. We also got one of the world's best villains. Well, depends on who you ask. Ultron might not be that person. So, while I do agree that Tony is everything he said he is, brash, egotistic, I think this was the one time up until this point where he was actually being sincere. And then later on events after Infinity War, the first thing Tony comes down and says to Cap is, I wanted to build a suit of armor around the world. Now, how badly would he have messed up to get there? We don't know. But what I'm saying is, he was right in, he was right in trying to build something that would help us. Although it would eventually lead to war, he was right for doing it because he didn't build Ultron. He tried to build something else, and Ultron was a byproduct because artificial intelligence is nuts. So, was Tony right for building Ultron? No. But was Tony right for trying to build a suit of armor around the world? I say yes. I'm done.
What a lovely opening statement. Cap, the floor is yours.
Just for a point of clarification here. So we got 2 votes that he was correct, and Lay saying he was wrong.
Absolutely. Oh, by the way, side note, I want to thank the judge for completely shitting over my statement. But as you were.
Oh, that was not me. That
No,
was
no,
show.
no,
That
no,
was
we're
show.
done. We're done at this point. Come on. That was a lovely statement.
I am
Fuck
the
that
law.
statement. That's what, you know what that sounds like? Oh, you look great with glasses. So when I take them off, I look like shit.
No, what it sounds like is I was trying to justify. I was trying to uncode the decoding of Show's fucking statement. All right, I am Judge Toe Brown.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Show said he's rich, so fuck it.
Yeah.
So once again, Judge Judy, we got
The
2
execution.
for yes and 1 for no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so my opening statement. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, was Tony Stark right in building Ultron? I argue no, he was not right. He made a decision out of fear, and everyone knows when you make a decision out of fear, you often come to the wrong decision. He tried to play God and create life, and everybody knows when you try to play God, you come to the wrong decision. As Cap once eloquently put it, every time you try to end a war before it starts, bad shit happens. And Tony tried to end a war before it starts, before he knew exactly what he was up against. So my friends, my countrymen, lend me your ear as I say, he is wrong.
All right, beautiful opening statements. We'll bring it back to Lay. Lay, please further deliberate.
I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a question.
Yeah, Cabs.
Was Tony in fear when he made Jarvis?
What?
Was Tony when he made Jarvis? Was that a decision out of fear?
No.
Okay. So why is it okay for, he built Jarvis, it wasn't out of fear. I get that. But what's to say, like, what if Jarvis messes up? Then what? It's another AI, right?
Dude, what? He built an Alexa. Okay. That's not what we're arguing.
That's essentially what Ultron was just another AI that took over a body. They literally fought each other. It was a battle of AIs. Did you not see that part? It was literally a battle of AIs. Now, Ultron was version 2.0. I'll give you that. But what I'm saying is, what's the difference between making Jarvis that worked and Ultron that didn't? And again, that's my argument. Was he right in building Ultron? No. Was he right in trying to build a suit of armor for the world? Because Jarvis is the beginning of that suit of armor for the world. It got a little out of hand with Ultron. And again, I agree with you guys. He shouldn't have built Ultron. But he wasn't trying to build Ultron. He was trying to build a suit of armor around the world to protect the world. So, and again, it's like Monday morning quarterback. If you threw the right passes, if you made the correct plays, you're a genius. But if you didn't, you suck. So when he made Jarvis, which is the beginning of him getting to Ultron, that's okay because it worked. But because Ultron didn't work, now he's wrong. That's just my question.
Hey, you want to take this one?
Listen, man. All right, so I'm guessing where Cap was trying to go with it was we're arguing the point of Ultron, right? And I understand the AI thing lays perfectly into it, but Ultron ultimately did. I mean, I can't imagine the damage Jarvis has done, but Ultron pretty much killed a city. You know what I mean? That's a little much, especially when you're like as Cabs put so eloquently. And when you're trying to build a suit of armor around the world to protect it, and you wind up dooming it almost instantly. And let's remember the thing about Ultron is he really dead? It's an AI. It's a program.
Yeah.
He can transfer himself to anything at any time in a split second and still be around. So you essentially made a never-ending threat to the world. You know what I mean? It could be
Same-
at any point that Ultron decides today's the day I'm going to come back.
Same thing as Jarvis, though.
Yeah. But right
That's-
now, Ultron could be in a satellite chilling somewhere right now.
So what's the difference between and I'm gonna shoot this over to
Well,
Cap?
no, it's in a sense and I've always said this is one of my arguments that I love. When you do something wrong, everybody will remember that. When you do something right, nobody cares.
That's what I'm saying. That's literally my
I-
point. That's literally
and
my
I'm,
point. Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I'm arguing the fact of he was wrong for making Ultron. For the fact is, he was fueled by trauma, like fear, like Cap said too. He saw the vision with Thanos, and he was like, "Yo, I got to get ahead of it." And just like that, I was gonna use that Cap line before Cap used it. You know what I'm saying? When you try to get ahead of it, you make everything worse
Mhm.
because you think you know what's really gonna happen, and it winds up being worse than that would actually happen because they went through New York, right?
Yeah.
They did that, right? They went to New York. They saved the world, or they avenged it, whatever you want to call it. But when you get to that level, and then you try to prevent that, what's not to say, in a sense of whatever's coming sees you try to do that and can surpass that. And now you're essentially what you're doing is you're pretty much putting a guard around every part of the world and not giving them anybody a choice about it. He didn't ask anybody if they need the world armor. He made it for their. It's like the silver thing. You made a choice for all of us.
Yeah.
You didn't ask us. He didn't go to the UN and goes, "Yo, can we do this?"
Well,
went
after
in
seeing
Went in-
aliens drop in Manhattan,
I get it. But he went in there with the usual Stark swagger, egotistical fear,
which is the
all that.
problem.
He went
Which
in
is the
there
problem.
on some like, "Yo, I know what's best for the world," kind of like Doctor Doom, in a sense.
Which
And
you
then
guys,
he
which
dragged
you guys,
Banner
which you,
into it.
which you guys
Once
love.
again, Bruce Banner's part of it. Let's remember this because
Yes.
it takes those two big brains to figure that shit out. You know what I'm
Let
saying?
one would say that they both deserve equal
Absolutely.
blame.
I
I'm
like
no
what you
way.
did there.
Everybody gets a smoke.
Hey,
Son.
come on,
Banner was
please.
in that lab. Banner was in that lab.
I have a question though. I have another
Yeah.
question, and I'm going to direct this one to Cap.
Sure.
So, okay, so this was all driven by fear, right? So, when Iron Man was built, when he made Iron Man, he had to get out of that cave. He got out of that cave. Everything is fine, but he saw what was happening, and the fear of his weapons going into the wrong hands led to the creation of Iron Man and by Captain America, known as the world's greatest hero. So again, the difference. What is the difference from the fear of his weapons getting out there, him making Iron Man, and bringing in all those villains because he's out there now playing superhero? What's the difference between that fear and the fear of making Ultron?
Okay.
Yeah.
Here it is. The Iron Man suits are only designed for him, so he can try to alleviate. Right.
We
Jarvis-
saw one of the Iron Man suits try to choke Pepper. We saw them, and he had to shut it down. He could shut it down. You're right. There's an
Yes.
off button.
So
There's an off button.
Here's
There
the
it is.
difference. Jarvis, as you brought up, right, is nothing more than a fancy Alexa.
He is an artificial intelligence. Please stop downplaying Jarvis.
Alexa is also an artificial intelligence that can learn to
She-
grow, recognize your
that is
voice, and all
that
that.
is not artificial intelligence. She listens to voice commands. She cannot think of her own and make decisions. Jarvis can.
So, okay, fine. You want to put that on there? Cool. What he was trying to do with Ultron, if you remember correctly, he was trying to use the Mind Stone
Yeah.
to make a sentient being.
Yeah.
A
who?
sentient being is not an artificial intelligence. He was trying to create a new life using Jarvis as a base plate, which means he
That worked
knew,
out so well.
but he knew that Jarvis was not the same as whatever he was going to create.
Obsolete. I get what you're saying. I
Yeah.
get what you're saying.
So to make a
Time out,
sentient life, good.
Little fact check here. Jarvis is not an AI. He is a quantum computer.
Oh, that even helps our argument even better.
just wanted
because
to throw that
a
out.
quantum computer is not the same thing as what Ultron is. Ultron is a sentient being.
Yes.
Jarvis understands that he has the capability of thought and figuring out shit and all that. Ultron knows he is alive. Ultron, where Jarvis simply is yes or no, ones and zeros, black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Ultron, he knows fear. He can understand fear. He can understand emotion. He actually showed some emotion. He showed the ability to equip and be as fast as Tony Stark. What Tony did
Which is
was
great. One of my favorite lines in that movie.
what Tony did was he let his fear push him in a direction further than he himself and Mr. Banner
Yes.
were capable of understanding, because he did not fully understand the threat that was coming. Because he saw an image, he made an assumption, the wrong assumption, and he led that to create probably the worst possible outcome.
Yep.
Where if you look at now, you brought up Monday morning quarterbacking,
Mm-hmm.
the shield, the armor around the world, they already had the Avengers.
Yeah.
They did unbelievable shit to save everybody, to bring as many people back as possible, and to defeat Thanos. His fear that he needed an external force to do that was unfounded. Therefore, he was wrong to do so.
Okay. So, Judge, and with all due respect, I would like to know your source that states that Jarvis is not an artificial intelligence.
Give me a second.
Because
I'm fact checking
because
that
I
also.
because I myself have done some research, and from the Wikipedia, again written by human beings, but not just that. I've looked at plenty places, and apparently Jarvis, or Jarvis, is an artificial intelligence created by Tony Stark, and Jarvis itself stands for just a rather very intelligent system. That kind of sounds like an AI butler to me. So no disrespect, Judge. Just wanted. But listen,
Listen,
I
was double fact checking Show's mistake, and it turns out Show was wrong. So he is the artificial intelligence.
He
went
indeed
from a
artificial
UI to an
intelligence.
AI.
Yes, sir. So listen.
So Show, next time you interrupt, we're gonna have
I
problems.
honestly, I would give you guys that that he was playing God. There is one specific line. He says, "I don't." He tells Bruce Banner, "Don't give me the meddler wasn't meant to meddle medley." Stupid line, kind of cheesy, but he basically says, "Hey, don't tell me not to be smart." Now, again, and that's why I started my opening statement the way I did with that quote, where when you try to find peace through lead, it often leads to war. It does.
Mhm.
But I think the real question here is, it's not was he right or wrong for making Ultron. I think the question was he right or wrong for trying to create something that can protect the world moving forward? That's what we need to ask ourselves here, ladies and gentlemen. And we've seen Tony Stark on many occasions try to build stuff that doesn't work. Like I mentioned before, one of his suits, uh, you know, physically choked Pepper. Yes, it had an off switch. He could have turned it off. Great. But I think a lot of the things that Tony Stark does is not led by fear at all. It could be led by hubris. They could be led by his God complex. But ever since Tony Stark became the Iron Man, he noticed that we needed to end the fight somehow. And that was what he wanted to do the entire time. You know, Captain America needs war, as people often say. So he's not ready to stop the war. He's ready to react to war. Tony's ready to stop war. And although it kind of didn't work out that well, his heart was definitely in the right place. What came out of his attempt at true artificial intelligence, because you're right, Cap, Jarvis was low grade stuff compared to what Ultron was. You're absolutely right. I completely agree there. But I don't think the mistake was him trying to do something to save the world. I think the mistake happened when Ultron came out. And, you know, again, we need to ask ourselves the world's greatest hero, as said by probably the world's greatest hero, Captain America. Right? Like, let's be honest.
I agree. No, I agree.
One of them at least. As mad as Steven was about the whole thing, in Endgame, when he comes down, he tells Steve, like, I told you, we need a suit of armor around the world. She was like, well, you know, I told you we would lose together. All of that. I completely understand where you guys are coming from. Tony Stark is a loose cannon. But Tony Stark is always a loose cannon, whether he's in or out of the Iron Man suit. I think this was just another failed experiment that led to some pretty big casualties. But the thought of goodness was there. So again, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, ask yourself, what is the real question here? Was he wrong for making Ultron, or was he wrong for trying to protect America? God bless us, all of us.
Like, can I take this real quick? Here you go.
Survive.
Yeah. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. You took a man who had a base level knowledge of what the Soul Stone was. By clear definition of their reaction to how everything came about, they had a base level knowledge of the Soul Stone. His good intention means absolutely nothing when the end result is so far gone. And I'll tell you why.
I can't agree there, but
I'll tell you why. There was a scenario. There's a burglary. 2 houses down. So to feel safe, I need to buy a gun. My intention is not to murder anybody. My intention is not to harm anybody. My intention is purely the safety of my family. I leave the gun out. Bam! My kid caps himself, somebody else. When the law comes around, they don't go, but the gun was only for this. Your intentions were good. You still get the consequences of your action.
Murdering someone who is jumping into your house is not a good intention. That is it's a protective intention, like Tony was trying to do. You're right. I agree with you. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, when the gun goes off accidentally, because it will happen, the consequences still exist.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of Tony's intention, his outcome was one that could have been avoided because he did not need the Mind Stone to put a shield around the world. Case in point, at the end of Iron Man 3, he had all of his suits operating independently. He already had a force that he could deploy at any time to protect it from any threat. He didn't consult with Cap. He didn't consult with Shield. He didn't consult with any other governments around the world in order to completely make this suit of armor, as he calls it. As Lay said, he consulted with no one. And when you try to take things into your own hands, it doesn't matter your intent.
Okay.
You are wrong.
Okay. So I'm gonna say to that. So I completely understand you. Average Joe gets a gun, lives in a rough neighborhood, and he's doing it to protect himself. There's some burglaries around. Kid gets into the gun. Okay. What if that guy was a cop and needed to have the gun in his house? What if he had constantly saved the world over and over again? What are the repercussions at that point?
Yeah. If you constantly save the world over and over again, what are you afraid of?
The threat keep coming down. It's not about
and you
it's
stop
not
them.
about saving the world over and over and letting shit happen. It's
So-
about trying to prevent it altogether.
Okay, let's bring that up. Let's bring that up since you brought it. A cop alone
Mm-hmm.
does not have the ability to enact on itself. He still needs to, one, abide by the laws. Two,
Mm-hmm.
he still would need the entire department's backing in order to do something about the crime in his neighborhood if he was that afraid that he had to keep preventing over and over and over and over again. He still
Mhm.
would have to go to someone else for help. Taking it upon himself is still the wrong thing to do.
True, but I think at this point we had established that the Avengers pretty much did whatever they want. So I mean,
No, but we're not. But the argument is not if the Avengers did whatever.
If it's Toni.
He wanted to encase the Earth in an actual defense force.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot act alone. Even with Bruce Banner, you cannot take just two people and try to enact such a force like that. That is the wrong move every time. And Lay, if you want to jump in here,
and again, so that's the again, and that not that it helps my point, but again, we're not mad that Ultron happened. We're mad that he didn't consult people because let me tell you, if he brings this up to some of the best minds in the world and has backing behind it, let's say he goes to Thunderbolt Ross with this. He's like, yo, we're gonna make a suit armor around the world. And Thunderbolt's like, yeah, go for it. And then he messes up and Ultron comes up. What's the difference?
Yeah, you know what the difference is? And I'm sorry, Lay, man. I'm gonna
No, go ahead.
want to jump in.
I'm with it. Go ahead.
Here's
As
the
long as you guys keep this cordial, we can keep this going.
We're very cordial.
Here's the difference. If the entirety of the world said, go ahead, let's do this, you would have more than two minds. Look at the Mind Stone and understand exactly what it is. He would have been able to talk to Shuri. He would have been able to talk
I
to
was gonna bring up
other
Sherry.
minds that would have been able to figure out, oh,
But they
this is
show as well.
exactly what it is. This is exactly how this would manipulate itself. And then if consequences arose from that, then at the very least, the entire world had a plan and it didn't work.
Again, the question is not, was he right for building Ultron? Was he right in doing it on his own? No. But the thought remains that he was trying to do something good for the world.
Yeah,
and I
but
get,
that's-
I
that's
get your point.
irrelevant.
I mean,
That's
I-
irrelevant.
I get-
Everybody wants Star-Lord. We just argued that Star-Lord was fighting for a loved one, and he still gets blamed. So then Tony Stark still
Tony
gets
was-
blamed.
he
His
was fighting
intent
for
is
the world,
irrelevant.
though. He was fighting for the world, though, which was the point made that it was a selfish thing. So what I'm trying to say is, and look, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like, I kind of saw where this is going, and I decided to back my boy Tony up a little bit. And I agree, you guys are making great points, and you guys, I will stand by and say that you guys have definitely changed my mind. I can say that. But I'm saying the real problem here isn't, or the real question here isn't, was he right for building Ultron? The question is, was he right for trying to do it on his own? And I think it's no. So, I mean, you still get some kind of, this is a superhero we're talking about. This isn't a bad guy. He has a little hubris. He's a little, wonky. But, he was Earth's greatest defender at that point. You know what I'm saying? Cap hadn't said it yet, but he was part of that. So I think Had he acted accordingly, everything would have been fine. But because he did it alone and didn't get consent and other minds into it, that's why he's wrong.
Can,
That's,
can I
I'm
call my
asking.
first witness?
Yeah, so you call your first witness.
Don't call Rhodey.
No. I'm calling Daniel LaRusso,
Holy shit.
the Karate Kid.
Yeah, why?
Why?
Daniel,
I'm gonna.
do you swear to tell the truth, the
I
whole
have
truth, and
a
nothing but the truth?
feeling. I have a feeling. I think I know where Cap is going with this.
Me too.
Yeah,
Think.
yeah.
Here's why I'm bringing this witness up, Mr. LaRusso. We have previously stated that Mr. Stark has saved the world multiple times. We have clearly seen that him and the Avengers were capable of handling extraterrestrial threats.
I'm fucking up the city in the process.
Right. Actually, it was only a few blocks. It wasn't really that much of the city. But anyway.
Oh, it doesn't
Remember,
matter, right? That
Mr.
doesn't
LaRusso.
matter.
Like it turns to ash, condensed.
Yep.
Cap.
Mr. LaRusso, my question to you is, much like yourself, if you trained for 3 movies in a martial art to defeat your enemies, why the fuck are you still afraid? Much like in Tony Stark, if you have beaten back every single threat that has happened, why the fuck are you still afraid?
If you've trained in boxing, your whole life, and you see Mike Tyson on the other side, you're not gonna be scared?
No.
All right.
There's a
You're gonna see
difference.
Mike Tyson biting his fist.
There's a difference between nervousness that can sometimes be useful in a confrontation and flat out bitch like Danny LaRusso fear.
Your comments are all your comments are fueled with hate for Mr. Daniel
This is true.
LaRusso. Sir, he's badgering his own witness.
He is, and you know,
Hey, permission to treat this witness as hostile.
It's
A
your
hostile little
witness.
bitch.
It's your witness.
show. You got a message? Would you
You
like
can't
to
do
elaborate
that,
on what's
though.
going on?
You can do that, yeah.
Yeah.
that's great.
Show, would you like to elaborate what's going on? I know you got a message in the OBS.
I did. I got a message on the OBS. Oh shit! Y'all sending me messages. Tony had PTSD. To elaborate. Wait a minute. What? Director, you fucking know. We talking about the Karate
Post-traumatic
Kid
stress disorder. Is that what you're saying? Show that he had PTSD.
here? That's exactly what I said. You see, I thought you wouldn't understand. I'm glad. Glad you came to your fucking senses.
Would you like to elaborate on that, Show?
According to the message.
He's gonna
No,
keep
I
reading
don't.
the message. All right, so Lay, would you like to?
Go ahead. Lou.
Yes, sir. I just want to speak on 2 very dangerous things that 3 things that is very dangerous about Mr. Stark. Ego, fear, but most importantly, the need to protect something that's already being protected. I don't understand. I understand the thought, and Cap's right. The heart is in the right place. It absolutely is. I understand it,
You
but
gotta give him credit for that.
you are on a team with a god, a super soldier, the best spy / assassin in the world.
And Natasha
You
Romanoff.
have literally a gamma. You have
See
a
what you did
gamma
there.
bomb. You have a gamma bomb, and the most accurate human being on God's green earth. I mean, you have a tactical genius, and then you're a genius, and then the gamma bomb, when he's a human, is as useful as the gamma bomb.
As a genius.
And still,
You know what I'm saying?
and still, Thanos was able to have.
But I'm just what I'm
Still
saying
Thanos-
is,
But that's all
when-
because of Peter Quill.
what I'm saying is, once you get everything accorded right, and then what do you happen? You meet what the most technologically advanced nation in the world. You meet his leader, a man who's also the 8th smartest person in the world, and then his sister is smarter than him.
I'm the
And then
7th.
they have the rarest metal in the world
Yes,
that
you
you
are,
can
sure.
use. And then
You are.
who do you find there? Cap's best friend, who is a trained soldier and one of the best assassins ever, is a Winter Soldier. I mean, come on. You really need a suit of armor around the world, and you have this at your disposal?
I mean,
Do you
clearly
really
there
need a
was like
suit of armor?
there was like another couple movies that
I'm
demonstrated
just
that,
saying
yeah,
this.
maybe.
You won the first battle, and then the second battle you won is a battle you made. You made that battle. and then you fight amongst each other like a bunch of bitch asses.
Great scene at the airport, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yes, awesome. And then you bring in more heroes. But the point is, every time it gets worse, you find another solution, even when it's your mistake. There's another way. And it's never a suit of armor, it's the people. Like Cap said, I believe in people.
So what you're saying is,
I don't believe in Tony's suit of armor. I believe in the people that are around me.
So what you're saying is that this mistake ultimately led to the advancement and/or upgrade of the Avengers. This made them fight harder for the world. They realized that they didn't need a suit of armor because
necessity is the mother of invention.
So my point stands.
No, that actually came out of Civil War when they realized they were broken.
They were kind of broken.
They were broken. They realized they're better together.
Well, well, remember they were also broken in Ultron. That was when they went to Clint's house that they were all messed up because of Wanda.
They got
they
really
were
broken,
sort of broken
because of our next point. When they really got broken. Our next case is when they really got fucked.
This is when it gets interesting.
Can I just bring up one thing real quick? The fact that in Age of Ultron, Tony Stark tried to single-handedly put a suit of armor, acting all on his own, and then immediately in Civil War, turned around and was like, no, we need the backing of everybody. We can't just be out here doing things independently on our own.
Yeah.
He learned his lesson.
Yeah. But
no. He's a hypocrite.
Building Ultron was necessary.
You tell the government you can have my suit of armor, and now you want to side with the government that you were fighting so hard against? And Iron Man 2, remember? He was like, you can't have my armor.
You didn't want to bring him in.
So I don't want your help now. You know what I mean? It's like, but and the crazy thing is Cap is a soldier, and Cap realizes we can't let these people point us in a direction as a weapon. We have to be responsible for our own shit. Like Tony has to be responsible for making Ultron.
I have a question. Now, since it's 2-on-1, I would like to ask a question that might be in favor of Cabs.
Technically, it's 2-on-2.
No, well, I mean, Show is as masterful as Show is as a litigator.
Show is simmering with the genius thought in there. I see it.
Yes.
It's in there. He's gonna come out with a beautiful one.
Show is waiting for the right time to strike. But I would like to ask.
Tactical.
I would like to ask a question.
Tired running that wheel.
I would like to ask a question, and maybe this will sway your opinion a little bit. But Tony Stark created Ultron, but Ultron also inevitably created Vision, and Vision became a strong weapon in defeating Thanos and all this other stuff and all that. So couldn't his mistake make a right?
Oh
no, because
Vision destroyed Ultron.
Thor did.
Yeah, he did it with the hammer.
Thor finished the process that Tony was trying to start.
Himself.
Yeah,
and then great point that you bring up, Judge, because the minute Thor arrives back on Midgard, the first thing he says is Stark was right, and fucking puts the lightning on the thing. He says Stark was right. I'm not crazy.
But why did you do that? Again,
because the mistake is already made. Because it was I get you. The mistake was already made.
Who was right? Cap. Cap was right again.
All right, so I would like for everybody to go to their closing arguments. If you have one, Show, I would like for you to start with your closing argument because I can tell you was thinking about it this whole time.
Tony Stark has PTSD.
Holy shit.
Close an armor. That's it.
There you go. Thank you for your argument.
Ironically, yeah.
Insightful.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, individuals, should I say, once again, all this is proven is that Tony Stark's fear and arrogance has led to creating one of the most dangerous threats to the planet ever. A threat that has honestly not been nullified or destroyed. Ultron is a program. A program can go anywhere, satellite, cell phone, till the time is right to strike. So this is an era that, once again, while Mr. Stark's heart was in the right place, his fear and his arrogance were in the wrong place. And just like Sylvie, something we might suffer something we will suffer for later, because Ultron is still a threat.
We saw it in What If. We saw it in What If. So I'm gonna judge, and I don't mean to interrupt and just jump into my closing statement, but I feel like we all learned something here, right? What did we learn?
That Tony
We
Stark had
learned-
PTSD.
Well, yeah,
Fact.
you know, Tony Stark did indeed have PTSD from tons of things that had happened to him already. And again, the point of the Avengers is to avenge. They said it. Tony Stark said, we're not the Revengers. We're the Avengers, right? So maybe Tony Stark should have spoken to more people about it, maybe gotten the right permissions and grants to get this going. But it remains that he was not wrong for building Ultron. Ultron was a product of him trying to do the right thing. And I know my opening quote spoke about that exact same thing. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to get out of the court with one thing in mind. If Tony doesn't push the boundaries as he usually does, we don't have the vision. You know, and if Tony doesn't push the envelope like he does, we wouldn't have an Iron Man. We wouldn't have the world's greatest defender, not hero. I need to fix that quote. Sorry. So one can say that Tony's fear, that Tony's gravitas, that Tony's recklessness has led to some of the best heroes being put together in this universe. So again, I want to tell you guys all that Tony is an innocent man. He's only guilty of loving America. I'm out, y'all. I don't like to say universe, I like to say America.
So, people of the jury of all gender pronouns, I would like to
respect them.
point out that the vision was brought up, and in my closing
That was for
arguments,
Cad, my bad.
in my closing arguments, I would like to point out that in Endgame or Infinity War, the vision was a non-factor. In Endgame, he was already dead, thus not necessarily needed to defeat Thanos. So again, in this context, his intentions do not matter. The outcomes matter. His outcome was probably at the time, the second biggest threat that they had to then deal with. Then any positive outcome from that was nullified and proven to be completely useless going forward. So the sum product is a worse outcome followed by one that didn't matter and didn't play a role anyway. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, once again, you have to take the facts of this case and vote that Tony Stark was wrong. I rest my case.
I would like to point out that Vision does indeed kill Ultron, but you know, it wasn't completely useless. But I get what you're saying.
Neither's a stick.
I mean, no. Vision is very important to a lot of things in the MCU. I'm just saying that. Just gonna say that.
Yep, yep. All right. So, if there's no other deliberations or any other statements that would like to be made or any other witnesses that would like to be called, we would like to go into deliberations right now. And the chat, remember, type 1 for is Tony Stark guilty, and type 2 for is if he's innocent. LaFlaca has already stated that she's gonna vote for Cap's side, so that's one guilty verdict there.
Wait a minute. Capsize.
All right, guys, I'm off to work. My future vote is in favor to Cap. Please count it in. That was a
She's literally dead.
yeah, that was a message that was stated.
I
Show.
don't even see that.
Yeah,
That
it's
was so long ago.
it's
That's messed up. He's paying for witnesses. He's paying the jury. He picked the own jury. This is a jury of his peers, not Tony's.
He's a
Well,
jury of all of our peers.
She didn't even
Technically,
hear.
you guys' peers.
She didn't even hear anything.
well,
Exactly.
technically, the only one that's Tony Stark's peer is the show.
I'd like to have her vote stricken. Is that the right word? No, yeah, it has
Yo,
to.
she's our people.
She didn't even hear the
I'm a
facts.
stranger to this land.
She didn't even hear the facts. Can you look at the cell phone for 1-800-FACTS to see if she called in to get any facts? She didn't get any facts.
Let's
It says right
deliberate.
here she did.
When did she send that message? We
Uh,
started this. We started
at
this
10:51.
Okay, that's enough time. That's enough time. That's enough time. I don't see that message.
It's in between the lay messages.
The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
I agree. But hold on a second. Yeah, I see it.
Hey, we're already
All right.
done, man. Let them deliberate.
No. No.
That's how to take the jury.
You guys took this one. I just wanted to be the contrarian.
15. It's the 15 message up.
Ultron was a pretty shitty mistake.
All right.
Yeah.
So, show, we're gonna deliberate. What do you feel about the arguments being made?
Everything is prolific, man. You guys are awesome. Y'all should have been. What the fuck y'all doing fucking podcasting for? Y'all should have been lawyers, man. Especially my boy, Cabs over here came dressed to impress. I'm impressed by you, man. You look like a telemarketer. You look like you're about to sell something.
That's
You look
what I
like you
do
in a
for a
Zoom
living,
meeting
sir.
in the morning. You look perfect, man.
That's what I do for a living.
I would like to ask Leia a question. What does prolific mean, and what is show's verdict? Because I can't understand.
I have no idea what I don't have no idea what Show said. I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right.
As he was
Again?
speaking, I was like untying my boots and I heard something that sounded prolific.
Yeah.
Prolific.
All right.
So
So-
prolific.
So, show one more again.
Oh, sorry. I have no idea what I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, is he guilty or is he not guilty? Them's the answers we want.
Not guilty for me. Tony Stark's not guilty.
I got one.
All right.
I'm
Well,
a
You got
Cab.
the guy who was arguing your same point on your
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
I'll
Well,
take it. I'll
it-
take it. You got somebody that didn't even listen to the whole argument.
Yeah.
She
this is
literally,
true.
all votes go to you. So literally for the rest of the night, all votes go to you. That's not
She knows
fair.
it.
Well, no,
She
that's
knows
just
it's right.
that is
Let
just
me
for
get-
that is just for this case. That is not for the next case. But
Thank you,
but,
Judge.
but yeah, I would like to add for the record that the outcome of Ultron was that Sokovia was destroyed. He destroyed an entire country. Now, in reality to the gun, it's not that the kid shot himself with the gun owner and left the gun out. The kid went to school and destroyed the school with that gun. Greater damage has been done. It's like building a house with the intentions of creating shelter, but you don't have any skills, or you rush and cut corners and now the house falls and kills everyone living in there. The intentions were great, but the crime has still been committed.
That's a good analogy. I'll give you that.
Yep. So with that being said,
Or metaphor, I should say.
yes. With that being said, you have to be responsible for your creations and your choices. And if we do not hold Tony Stark responsible for their choices, then we are no greater than Kim Kardashian getting her lawyer license and passing the bar exam. So on this, I would vote that Tony Stark is guilty.
It's fair. That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
So
Yeah, can I have a moment before we start our next case?
yes, you can have a moment.
No.
So the case of the numbers that I spit out before we started this is closed. And now all rise for the Honorable Judge Toe Brown.
For the third time,
Yes.
Man,
give
this
me
guy keeps walking in and out of the court.
1 second.
All of us rise for the Honorable Judge Toe Brown. All right. So now
Gangster, I was one.
I wasn't always a lawyer show.
Oh,
We have
Oh,
the great
baby.
Captain America in the building. As we wait for our leader, attorney Cabs to come back, we will discuss case number Avengers issue 1 and the inner sanctum of case number 8207 456 8472 8675 309. Eon,
mm,
you understand the case that we brought apart of the show?
I did.
Good. So let me further elaborate because I'm pretty sure you have no idea what we're talking about.
Nope.
Now, Captain America is on trial for the crimes of not telling Tony Stark that it was Bucky, aka the Winter Soldier, who had killed his parents, thus making Tony Stark become irrational and possibly what drawed the Avengers to split. So when Cabs comes back, we will have a defendant and a plaintiff for this case. Those are the facts as I have known it, and we would like, you know, their opening statements. Now, Show, would you like to give your opening statements before Cabs come back, so that way we don't waste Cabs' time?
Of course.
Perfect. Cabs is back.
Captain America.
You're muted, Cabs.
Sorry, Judge. I was in the bathroom beating myself up. I cannot lie today.
No, it's okay. He was kicking your ass. I didn't mind.
I was kicking my ass. Do you mind?
I was just introducing Show to the case. So go ahead, Show. He's giving his opening statement.
Captain America cannot control what's going on with Bucky. I mean, if Bucky killed your parents, why I gotta tell you? Opening statement.
All right. If that's not an opening statement, I don't know what is. So we will give the opening statement floor to Cabs.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Cabs.
So this is a rough one for me personally because I have gone back and forth on this throughout the years. I was Iron Man at one point. I was Captain America at one point. And, you know, I think this question has a lot to do of when you asked it because I feel like, I don't know, just throw a number out there, about 50% of people have probably changed their minds
Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up.
from where Civil War was back then to where it is now. I being one of those people.
All right.
I was Team Iron Man back in the day. If you know that kind of information, you should definitely tell me. But again, this is a question about heroes and having a good place in their heart. A good heart. Captain America didn't keep this away from Tony to be an asshole. He kept it away from Tony because he knew how Tony was going to react, and he also understood that Bucky, the Winter Soldier, was under brainwash. And again, I got to be honest with you guys, I am down the middle with this, 50-50. But nowadays, after seeing Bucky and his story arc and everything he's went through, and seeing that one specific line in Civil War where Tony's like, "Do you even remember them?" He's like, "I remember all of them." After seeing that and thinking about that and seeing where Bucky is at as a character now, I am gonna side with Captain America. He didn't need to tell Tony, at least not then. At least maybe when the mission was over, when maybe Bucky was healed, So again, you have to ask yourself, jury, about good intentions. It's been my point this entire show. No pun intended. The intentions were good of Captain America. The intentions were good. He didn't want to tell Tony. He didn't want to mess up the mission. He could have told them before. There was things. I am going to side with Captain America because it was the overall good for the team to not say anything and, keep the party going. And look at what happened when they did find out. The band breaks up. So Captain America had the right idea in mind by not telling Tony to keep everything gelled and tight and cohesive.
See? That's exactly what I said.
Yes,
That
this
is
is what we
exactly
heard. Yeah, word for word almost.
Mm-hmm.
Cabs did use bigger words. I'll give him that. But yes. Lay, would you like to submit your opening statement?
Yes. I disagree with my esteemed colleague here. I believe Cap, especially Cap, being who he is, knowing his character and knowing the man that he is, what he stands for, what he's known for.
So
I mean,
he
the
could have good
world-
intentions.
The world knows him. You know what I'm saying? The world knows the man. And you would never think Cap would be one to lie to a friend. And not necessarily lie, more withholding information, but still, you know what I mean?
Lie by omission.
It's still a lie.
Still a lie.
You know what I mean? So I feel that the first thing you do is you gotta let him know. I know the moment
Ooh.
Cap went into S.H.I.E.L.D., when in the Winter Soldier, he saw that. Fury showed it to him right away and told him, this is what happened. Now, during the Winter Soldier, when he would have told him, it would not have affected Cap at all. Because remember, he's doing his own thing at this point for S.H.I.E.L.D. And no one knew Bucky was alive until that movie, until those events.
True.
Everybody would assume Bucky was dead and had no idea the true. I mean, at that point, Cap had no idea about the Winter Soldier, period, which is insane in itself. But once you find out it's Bucky, after the information is passed through, you have to understand Tony's going to react the way he's going to react regardless.
Yeah.
He is spontaneous, hot-headed, arrogant. So he's going to, you know what I mean?
And apparently his good intentions don't matter. I'm salty.
No. That's okay.
Hey.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the court, individuals of the court, everyone here, understand this. The most righteous man in all of Marvel to keep something this drastic from a man he's considered his friend. This man knew this man's father and considered him his best friend after Bucky was gone, unfortunately. This is information you are privileged to and you need to pass on to the individual that needs closure for the death of his parents. Because remember, at this point, Tony had no idea what happened to them.
Yeah.
He just knew they died. But to know how, and especially who, is important. Because maybe Tony doesn't make the mistakes that he's made.
Can I ask you a question? Len? This isn't like a
No.
combat type of thing.
Mhm.
Because like I said, I've gone back and forth with this a lot.
Mhm.
Back in the day, immediately after Civil War, I was on your side, right?
Mhm.
Have you ever been on the other side of this argument?
I started right away with Cap. And like, I get why
You see the switch
Oh, yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
asked, because
Oh,
I've spoken
absolutely.
to a lot of people about this, and they're like, yo, at first I was Team Iron Man, or I was Team Cap. And then nowadays, 10 years later, well, it wasn't 10, but 6, 7, 8 years later, a lot of people switch answers. So I just wanna know.
It took a minute for me to switch to the side I'm on now.
Yeah.
It was literally like a whole thing, like, yo, wait, what makes sense for the characters and what's happening with them, like how we know the characters, both in the
Yes.
comic and MCU. You know,
Yeah.
like these characters are known for this, and then I thought about the history, right? And about the timing when you tell the person. And like I said, no idea about Bucky until after Winter Soldier, like literally in the end of Winter Soldier, like mid-Winter Soldier, he goes, Bucky? And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
The Winter Soldier is my best friend. That's crazy.
Great.
And then all of a
fight
sudden,
scene.
all that stuff, amazing fight scene. And then all that stuff starts to unravel. At one point, even that he had done it before, at the end of Winter Soldier, Cap would have been like, shit, I told Tony. And now Bucky's alive. What happens when he finds out? Then Civil War is not only more heated at that point, because now they think he killed T'Challa's father, and now Tony's after him.
So
Along with
hold
the
on.
Quill.
So hold on. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No, go ahead.
Cap didn't even. No one knew about the Winter Soldier in the MCU. I mean, not in the.
Yeah,
comics.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
At that point, no one knew who the Winter Soldier was.
Yeah.
So the question here is,
Mhm.
when did Cap find out?
Yeah.
Now, did Cap know that a certain assassin was hired to kill Tony's parents, but he didn't know it was Bucky? Or did he find out after Winter Soldier?
Mhm.
That's the real question here. Because and this is why I'm so this topic, I'm sorry guys for the indecision, but I'm super 50-50 on this because there's so much questions. And that's an important question because
Mhm.
if Cap didn't know
Mhm.
about Winter Soldier, then he technically didn't know who killed Tony's parents. He knew someone killed him. So it's like, maybe, did he? So it's like, did he even need to say anything? You know, did he need to say anything at all?
Oh, I felt once that information falls on your lap.
So that's what I'm saying. When did the info fall under his lap? That's
Well-
I don't know if
You don't pull the Nick Fury and keep things from people.
Well,
Look at how it
also,
worked out for Nick Fury.
well, true. Also, we would like Cap's opening statement, but I would like to state out that after Winter Soldier, they did leak all the information out on the web. So it was kind of public information. So if Iron Man really wanted to find out, he could have maybe. But go ahead, Cap. We'll give you your opening statement.
I wonder what side he's on.
Me too.
It's a mystery. We'll never know.
Listen, man. Please inform me. I'm trying to figure it out.
My great citizens of this jury, I have never wavered in my belief. I have been on this side since before the movie was announced. I will not let my bias interject here because my opening statement.
As he's wearing the costume.
My opening statement is about a surface. It's surface level. I will get deeper as we go on, but my opening statement is surface, and it is as such. Steven Rogers was right. I truly believe that on the surface, he was protecting an innocent man from rash and possibly unwarranted consequences, as seen in the fight between Tony and Cap. The fight for the innocent is the right call. Being controlled, manipulated, or otherwise coerced leads to that person needing a very diligent and vigorous defense. Now, Cap knowing of the Winter Soldier but not knowing who is not enough information to give Tony Stark.
Exactly.
Cap would never go without full information.
That's what I'm saying.
Once he finds out who the Winter Soldier is, he now knows that it is an innocent man. You cannot lead an innocent man to a slaughter. That is my opening salvo.
Jesus. That should. Jesus.
Word. Way to start it.
Show, would you like to deliberate first?
Hell nah, not the way he just came in. Shit, guilty.
You have any witnesses?
No, I don't. Wait a minute, you supposed to be on my team. You got any? Are we calling any witnesses? I'm by myself. You got me defending this guy.
I'm not.
Oh.
I'm asking you for your.
He's the bailiff. He's the bailiff.
Yeah. Show
exactly.
Show, just sit there and we'll let Lay call his first witness.
Yes.
Perfect.
James Buchanan Barnes.
Oh shit! He just be calling everybody
shit.
up there. Jesus.
For the record,
Christ.
let the record know that's Bucky.
That is Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay.
That is the Winter Soldier. Well, now he likes to be referred to as James Buchanan Barnes. And
Yes.
He did nothing wrong. But in actuality, Mr. Barnes, are you not, or were you not known as the Winter Soldier that through history completed some of the most famous and most heinous assassinations in the history for the gain of political power of the Soviet Union and or their allies and Hydra?
Yes,
Yes or no?
I-
Yes or no?
Yes, I Yes, I was.
Mhm.
Exactly. Mr. Barnes, did you or did you not murder Tony Stark, Howard Stark, and his wife?
Martha.
Because they're in possession of the original
Martha.
super soldier serum.
Yes.
Yeah, don't matter to me. All right. Mr. Barnes, do you remember murdering them?
I remember all of them. I got you.
Mr.
Appreciate
Barnes,
it.
would you say, in your own words, you're responsible for all of those murders?
I remember all of them.
He has admitted plenty of times that he is responsible. He does remember them. In fact, in Civil War, as they're going to the base where the other super soldiers are being held, he says it out loud. He goes, "It wasn't you, Buck." And Mr. Barnes, what did you say? But I
I
did it.
remember all of them.
That's what he said.
I think he said that
Mr.
3 times in the
Barnes,
movie. Yeah.
Do you hold yourself
That was the only
accountable?
lines he had.
You feel Mr. Stark should have known that you murdered his family. As for you're the only one that can bring them closure, besides Captain Rogers, even though he withheld the information from a fellow friend. I think so. Mr. Barnes, thank you for your time.
Oh, can
Go,
I?
go, Cap, go, Cap, go.
And I believe this is correct, Sergeant Barnes. Is it
Oh
true?
no, the rank is gone now that he is a civilian. Now he's no longer a soldier. Now, a civilian for
Nice.
the moment. He's in court,
Yes.
not military court. This is just court.
Cool, Sergeant Barnes.
There you go. You
Mhm.
get in for that.
Mhm.
Is it not true that your mind was erased to a certain point, and you were kept on ice until the next mission they needed? Yes.
I
Is it
remember
not
all of them.
true that there
There you
are
go.
certain trigger words that can be used to take your ability to control your own actions away from you?
I remember all of them.
One of them is
Yeah.
Freight Train,
Yes.
I think.
Is it now not true
Sinaglia. Yeah.
that the only family you have left because of the ordeal that you suffered through World War II is now Captain Stephen Rogers? Is it not true that Stephen Rogers therefore only has you as family left? So I pose this question, Mr. Barnes, Sergeant Barnes, if you will. When it comes to family, and I'm not talking about Fast and the Furious style, I'm talking about actual family.
Ah, that's awesome.
When it comes to
Toretto.
family, is it not the duty of everyone involved to protect every other member? Is it not Stephen Rogers' sole purpose to protect you from yourself and your guilt, because your recognition of guilt proves only that you were not in control? For if you were, you would not have done these actions. Two, does he not also have the responsibility to protect you from Tony Stark and from all other perceived consequence, as in the entire movie was about that? Because again, Mr. Barnes, whether you hold guilt upon yourself or not, it is not true that you are innocent, for you did not freely on your own will act in such a manner. Your Honor, I'm done with this witness.
Kaz, would you like to question the witness?
I would not like to question the witness. I would like to question this court. Again, we need to ask ourselves, what is the root of the problem here? We all are aware that James Buchanan, not to be confused with the drink. So great drink it all the time. But Mr. James Buchanan, Bucky, aka Winter Soldier, everyone knows that he did it. The question we are asking ourselves here was whether or not Captain America was right or wrong for not telling him. So let's all get back, leave the Winter Soldier alone. You're right. He did kill Tony's parents. But to Cap's point, he was also under mind control. And I think that's the biggest factor here, the mind control. I believe that if it wasn't a mind control issue where Bucky had just lost his shit, whether it's the war or whatever, and he did these harmful things, Steve Rogers would not try to be his friend, family. He'd be dead right there. And he would have probably told Iron Man, this is the guy who did it. I am the only guy that this man has left. I'm going to go help you get him. But that is not the case. Bucky was under a trance spell, whatever you want to call it. Those words are very weird. It's a very weird series of words to make him turn into the Winter Soldier. But whatever the case, I think that the only reason Captain America did not tell him is because of all the other circumstances behind it. Whether it's his friend, family, whatever it is. The fact of the matter is that the guy was brainwashed. Then we have Tony on the other side who doesn't care whether he was brainwashed, doesn't care about this or that. He says that, you did this to my parents. So I think Captain America, and again, I've gone back and forth on this one so much. I think Captain America was right in not telling him just because of all the circumstances. I feel like those circumstances were not a thing. Captain America would have told Tony and would have probably helped Tony go and get his ass. But because of everything that's happened, I think Captain America decided the good of the team over Tony Stark. And, it is kind of easy to dismiss Tony Stark because of the type of person that he is. It's like Captain America he probably went there with it. He was like, yo, if I tell Tony, this is going to be a shit show. This guy's my best friend. He was brainwashed. Let's just move on. A soldier isn't supposed to say everything. Whether it's your mom or not, soldier is not allowed to say anything, whether it's the mission or things that he knows. He's not supposed to just share like that either. Remember, at the end of the day, Captain and Tony's relationship became a lot stronger after Civil War and after Infinity War when he came down. So at this time, I would say that Captain America looked beyond Tony Stark and said, you know what, for the good of the group, for the good of my family, for the good of my friend, let me just not say anything. That's what I believe.
Very nice.
Thank you. So there are no more questions for Bucky Barnes. We would like to, get you off the stand. Appreciate you coming on.
Get your old ass off the stand, please.
That's right. Does anybody have any other witnesses?
I would like to call Tony Stark to the stand.
Oh boy.
Ooh, with or without the suit?
Wait a minute.
Without.
Wait a minute.
All right, Tony Stark. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Sure.
All right. You may ask your question.
Mr. Stark, I have but one simple question for you. If you were told exactly who killed your parents and the exact circumstance surrounding that situation that night before the events of Civil War, do you think you could have made a rational decision of exactly what to do with that information? Because it is my assertion that regardless of timing, Tony would have acted the same way.
I think so.
So I put to you, my fellow lawyers here, if a horrific event had taken place with you at the center, with you had no control over the event, would you believe it is fair for any outside parties that were affected directly by said event to come looking for their pound of flesh from you? Because if the answer is no, then we have our case here. We have exactly how the jury should vote. And if you believe the case where they should take their pound of flesh from something that you have no control over, be as remorseful as you are, then it is a necessity for someone to come to protect you from yourself. Again, hence why Stephen Rogers was correct in not telling Tony Stark. I'm done with this, Your Honor.
So I'm to assume those are your closing statements?
Yeah.
Mr. Stark,
Oh, guess not.
how long have you carried around the deaths of your parents, not knowing how they died, not knowing if somebody killed them, it was just a freak occurrence?
Objection. I would like to state for the record that he was under the assumption that they were in a car crash. So he never
Understood.
questioned the method in which they died until this point.
That's true. Let
Understood.
the record show that the parents were killed in the car crash, to Tony's recollection.
Understood. Now, Mr. Stark, in many ways, you felt the car crash was the way that they died, according to my esteemed colleague here, correct? Now, finding out there was more diabolical way of it happening to your parents. And this is completely hypothetical. Would you, as a child, would you, as a man growing up with this
Whoa.
trauma in your heart and your soul, want to know how and who? But most importantly,
True.
if a friend, if a trusted brother was to know this, would you want them to tell you? I'm assuming that would be a yes, Mr. Stark. Right?
I'm so back and forth on this.
I'm assuming yes, right, Mr. Stark. This is a man you saved the world with, time and time again. You looked to this man because you knew your father. You fought with your father. Your father made that shield that he carries. Your father spoke in him in so high regard. And yet, key information to trauma in your life. And we know the relationship you and your father had was one that was volatile, to say the least.
Yeah.
To know how he died. And your mother, the one you loved her so much because she balanced you and your father most of the time. She was the ref. You could say that. Right, Mr. Stark?
Yeah.
So your brother knows this. You have fought with this man. He has saved your life. You have saved him. And yes, Sergeant Barnes was under his mind control. That is not dispute, but Sergeant Barnes also understands that a man's responsible for what he does. Mind control or not, and he does feel responsible for it every day of his life. This is no way that you don't see that. All right? 90 years of war. This is Mr. Barnes' life, Mr. Sergeant Barnes' life. But you also had your trauma, just like he had his. Unfortunately, your parents' death are part of that trauma. Would you want your brother to tell you about that? Imagine how you could heal, how you can start to heal, Mr. Stark, if you knew that information and not find out the way you did in the heat of war, in your armor, ready for battle. Think about that.
Damn. So I go like I said it from the beginning, I go so back and forth on this. But Your Honor, do I have permission to treat the witness as hostile?
Yes, you have the permission to treat the witness as hostile.
Tony Stark, Mr. Pizzazz, Mr. Flash. You've constantly done things we just proved 30 minutes ago, how you've always might have the right mind frame or might have the right
Intention.
the right intentions, but that often leads to peril, to chaos. Do you think that part of the reason Captain America did not tell you is because he knows how you would act? Because of the ramifications of possibly telling you and having you maybe go off or, you know, do crazy things, not only to Winter Soldier, but to everyone else who withheld this secret for him. Is that a reason? Like, can we look at ourselves for 5 seconds and say, okay, maybe he did withhold that information, but did he withhold that information because he's a bad guy, because he's not my friend, because he's not my brother, or because of how you would have reacted? That's the real question here. Because if Tony Stark, Iron Man, was a level-headed individual who understood things, I think Captain might have told him a long time ago, yeah, Tony, listen, man, my God, my dude right here, he was, going through some stuff, and one of the missions, he just happened to go and do this, and if Tony Stark was a level-headed person, he would have been like, well, that sucks, but I mean, the guy was mind controlled, and he seems pretty good now. He has a sick metal arm too. Kind of get each other there. So I think the real problem here is not that the person on trial here should not be Winter Soldier or even Steve Rogers. The real person that should be on trial here is you, Mr. Tony Stark, which you are. You're in the witness stand. The real issue is here, have you been able to take the news better? Would Captain America tell you then? And I think he would. I think the fact that he didn't tell you was because he knew you would go crazy. He knew you'd try to go for him, and he knew that it could possibly be even worse. It could cause problems to the Avengers. And again, I'm just saying this for the sake of saying it. Again, I go back and forth on this so fucking much. But yeah, I think the main reason here why Cap didn't say anything was because Tony's just too hot-headed.
So all right, I have a question.
I would like to cross-examine as well.
Well, all right, I have a question before you cross-examine the witness. I would like to ask the question based off of humanity. Now, Bucky Barnes is the best friend of Captain America, Steve Rogers. Correct. And now, as a man who has friends, we tend to know our friends inside and out, especially when you go to battle with them and you go do all this other stuff. And when you find out that your friend is doing some uncharacteristic to who they are, don't you want to figure out? Don't you want to figure out what's causing this man to do things? Now, and if you find out that your friend, your old time friend, killed the parents of your new friend, of a friend of the son of one of your friends, and you go, this ain't Bucky Barnes, this ain't my friend, why he do that? Would you tell your friend that your friend killed their parents without knowing? Without going, hold up, this man was under mind control, or this man just turned bad. Maybe I have a possibility of saving this man. And then after we save Bucky, we can have him tell Cap? Because wouldn't it be fair? Wouldn't it be fair for Iron Man to hear it from the source? I'll just, as a man of humanitarianisms, I just wanted to ask that question to sway your arguments and see how you further deliberate. But go ahead, Cap. You can cross-examine the witness now.
I just have a question or two for you, Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark, is it not true that you've harbored some sort of resentment from your father or for your father all the way up until that moment in Civil War and past Civil War? Yes or no?
Yes.
And I'm going to say yes because his statement was, he killed my mother. Not my parents. Now, being that we've seen the end of the journey, is it not true that when you went back in time, the closure you received from your father was not from the death that was mysterious to you to a point? Not from the death where you have now know why they were taken out? Is it not true that your resolvement with your father was finding out that everything he did was actually for you?
For you.
And that he did love you. And then all your resentment for your father went away. Now, I would argue that since we know all these to be true, that Captain America telling you or not is irrelevant for the simple fact that he still, if he didn't know, he still would have harbored that resentment and he would have made it to Endgame and had that moment of closure with his father, finding out that holy shit, this man does care. Plus, we know that he did find out and he still harbored that resentment until the end. So, simply knowing led to a decision that was not necessary. It led Cap to do things. So, I've heard uncharacteristic come out of Lay's mouth from Captain America, or for Captain America, correct?
I didn't say characteristic. I said the character that we know of Cap is this. So
Okay.
it's unfamiliar.
So, unfamiliar.
There
Yes.
you go. Got it.
Now, what is unfamiliar about Captain America going to any length to protect the ones he loves, the ones he cares about? That is not uncharacteristic. His maneuvers were not uncharacteristic. They were on par. Because I'm sorry to say, but a friendship of 5 years does not trump a lifetime with somebody else.
A few lifetimes.
Yeah.
It simply does not.
And your only connection really to anything of your past, besides Peggy,
Yeah.
which passes away in Civil War.
Show, would you like to add anything to this conversation?
Bucky is guilty. So is Cap.
I'm gonna take this off because I'm about to pass out.
Tony Stark has PTSD, correct? And I don't want to add anything else. Everything is perfect.
Well said. Well said.
Perfect.
Did
I
you
appreciate
listen to any of the arguments?
That was
Yes.
phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
That was phenomenal. That was phenomenal.
I just would like to
Now
put it
what I'm-
out for
I'm
the
gonna-
sake of
my
photography.
segments are going to be like shows, short and to the point, and make absolutely no sense.
Yeah, for the cinematographer at home, I just like to say that show is fixed malignant. There you go.
I want to tell everybody out there, the show is he's actually not under any influences. This is just show.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. Anybody wondering out there?
So, would you guys like to make your closing arguments?
Closing arguments, because it's 12 o'clock and we need to wrap it up.
Yep. We're making a quick one.
Yeah, quick closing argument. I actually thought we had it. I was like, yo, we got like 35 more minutes left. We should be able to do this.
Yep.
But
it's
this
show.
it's kind of the nature of our show.
Word.
But yeah, I'm gonna say again, fair point. I get both sides. I wouldn't want you to tell me about my mama, but I also understand the person that I am and understand the ramifications of you telling me and how I would react. And I feel like that is what is really at core here. It's the real problem. The real problem, you tell Tony, he's gonna lose his shit. Like the average person would. But would the average person still lose their shit knowing that this other person was mind controlled? And So at the end of the day, I say that while I do understand where you're coming from, trust me, my brother, I do. I was Team Iron Man immediately after Civil War. But then looking back and seeing how both these characters have progressed and regressed, because both of them have, even Cap, seeing that the real issue here is if Captain America would tell Iron Man, shit will hit the fan. In a stupid, you have potentially another Winter Soldier out there. You know what I'm saying? Imagine telling this to Iron Man like pre some of these events with the relationships and what Iron Man has done. He could have fucking lost his shit. What if we have a Superman situation here? Where he just loses his way with all this technology. You know what I'm saying? So I think Tony needs to look within himself a little bit too. Like, yo, maybe I was such a dick about things. He would have probably told me. I am done, Your Honor.
Nay?
I would say the integrity of two soldiers would mean a lot, especially one that considered himself the way he
Damn.
is. But especially Bucky.
Shots
Mostly
fired.
Bucky. Mostly the fact that Bucky has legit said, "I did it under my control or not. I am responsible. I pulled those triggers." You can see in Winter Soldier when he went to see Nakajima and he finally told him, I didn't have a choice, but he told him. You know what I mean? He had closure for a lot of people. And this, even Tony's volatile, arrogant self deserves some kind of closure sometimes. You know what I mean? Especially from two men that the rest of us see as honorable individuals. I don't look at Cap any less because he didn't tell him, but I would expect more
Oof.
towards
Damn,
Tony.
that's even
You know what I
worse.
mean?
You're disappointed in him.
I would expect more from Cap towards Tony. You know what I'm saying?
That's even worse.
Towards
Yeah.
Tony's not a fellow soldier, but he is a fellow warrior in the sense of they have been on the field of battle together.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I get protecting your best friend. I'm all for it. But the expense of another friend, that's kind of tough. You know what I mean? It's tough. And I get that he had his closure before, he's closure afterwards, and the time traveler. But I'm talking about in the moment. You can tell him. You literally battled with, you went to war with this man right next to you, and you knew it, and you never told him. And the guy that did it holds himself responsible, even though he really doesn't have to. He legitimately has the best get out of jail free card. I was under mind control, but he still has the human decency in himself to go, yo, listen, it was me. I did it. I did all of them. And I remember them. Like he said to the little girl, you're going to remember everyone you killed.
Yep.
And he remembers it, and it weighs on him every day. You know what I mean? I'm just saying is, from the guy I read in the comic books and the guys I've seen in the shows and stuff like that, in the cartoons, I would expect nothing but 100% from Cap. I'm not saying he's wrong for not doing it. I'm just saying I would expect better from a guy I hold on a certain level. And even Bucky has that decency because he's going out there and telling everybody, yo, listen, I'm sorry. It was my fault. I did it. I don't expect you to, but at least you can have closure knowing their death was not their fault. It was mine. So, yeah.
My closing argument is as such. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as pointed out by my esteemed colleague here,
Damn, I can't see it. My bad.
as pointed out, James Buchanan Barnes spoke with the older gentleman and actually gave him closure. What is that?
Judge Toe Brown.
Oh.
That's really
And
funny.
actually was able to give him closure as to what happened to his son. The opportunity for Mr. Stark to have said closure was given. Steve Rogers tried to explain, and before James Buchanan Barnes had the opportunity to explain himself exactly what he was feeling, what happened, to give Tony that closure, Tony said, and I quote, "I don't care. He killed my mother." And they immediately fought. Tony Stark was never going to accept that piece of closure, regardless of when you told them. So to prevent what inevitably happened, certain information that was not needed was withheld. And I say it wasn't needed because in order for closure to happen in an event like this, both sides have to be ready to sit down and deal with
To
the
accept.
situation.
To accept,
Tony
yeah.
Stark, as evident, was not ready to do so.
That's the only reason why I'm saying what I'm saying, because it's like it's Tony, bro. You
I mean,
tell
it
Tony he's
didn't-
gonna
it didn't-
spaz.
It didn't
But
help.
I
It didn't help
understand
the
why
way
he
he
was
found
spaz.
out. It didn't
Well,
help
yeah.
the way he found out.
Well,
Yeah, that-
Like he's literally just on some.
well, to be
Wait,
honest,
that's
That's that road. I know that road.
He's also like, yo,
Hold
That's
on.
shit.
To,
There's only
to
one
be
person here with a metal arm.
Let
There's
me
one
get
person here
this
with a metal
last in
arm.
here. Let me get this last in here.
No, go
So
ahead.
you just said it didn't help to find out.
the
that
way
The
he
way
found
he
out.
found out.
Yes,
way
the
he
way he
found
found
The
out.
way he found out.
But then a minute ago, you
The
lauded
base in
the
Soviet
fact,
Union.
you lauded the fact that James Buchanan Barnes afforded another gentleman his closure.
Yeah.
But you did not bring up the fact that he befriended this man for how long before he told them? What's worse, being fresh out, finding this information, and trying to get an open dialogue against somebody who doesn't want it, or befriending the man, gaining a level of trust, and then shoveling this at him? So if you're not mad at that, you can't be mad at this.
Oh no, you get it wrong. At no point did I say it was right what he did, but he did do it. It took forever. Don't get me wrong.
But now why
But-
not
But
afford
in
him?
the sense of finding out in a Russian base in your armor, literally a weapon that can destroy both men that are with you, and you see it live and in color instead of somebody just telling you, yo, this happened, dude.
But-
You're literally on some.
But
"Oh,
why?
look,
But why make the argument that
I
Cap
have
needed to
a
tell him that?
cannon on me that I'm going to point at this man's face or his arm because he blew it off.
Yeah.
But why make the argument that Cap needed to tell him sooner?
I make the argument
When-
because if you do it sooner and you can find immediate, possibly. But in the way he found out, it drove him back. The way he found out, he literally goes,
The way he found
The
out
way he
this,
I
found
have
out,
this
yes.
power suit. You killed my mom because nobody cares about the father anymore. Daddy was Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
So you're like,
he was.
I'm gonna blow his head off. And I'm not saying befriending Nakashima was the best move,
But we
but
did-
Bucky is horrendous at this, and we've seen it in the show. He sucks at all of that emotional shit.
He's so socially
Horrible.
awkward.
Again.
He's
Yeah,
so
he's
awkward.
they didn't know.
I trust people. Really? How
He's
come you're not
doing
picking
this-
up the phone call from the
he's
one
doing the
guy that's
staring
alive
thing
that you
again.
know?
Yeah,
The one
Again-
guy that you know that's alive, who's not picking up the phone call from that guy.
we can ascertain from the movies.
Well, I know, yeah. You can say
that
semantics
Cap-
all day, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
But Cap did not know that Bucky was mind controlled until Civil War. And you can't go to somebody with part information. You got to have all the facts before you try
So
to
here's a
defend
question.
somebody.
Here's a question. Who is Cap to withhold information from somebody? That's some Nick Fury. That's some Nick Fury shit right there. That's some Nick Fury shit right there.
Said the man who just in our last argument withheld information from everybody and tried to create sentient life. Tony
Oh, no.
Stark is not innocent of this.
Dude,
No,
I'm not
he-
saying he
he-
is.
yeah.
I'm not saying he is, but Tony Stark is not on trial here. It's not.
Yeah.
It's Cap.
Cap is on trial. Yeah.
See, I'm arguing what you did last time, talking about this is the point. Let's stick to the point. This is Cap's era, not Tony's.
Yeah.
And I remember the last one I was arguing with you. Tony was wrong for not letting the world know. Cap is wrong for not letting Tony know.
But this
Yeah.
is a different situation. Cap did not have all the information to tell Tony.
But did he know Winter Soldier killed his family? Because at
But
one
here's
point
the
he's
thing.
looking at him like, yo, I knew.
But what purpose would it serve to turn around and go, hey Tony, Winter Soldier killed your family? And then Tony goes, all right, let's look into it. And then what?
Saying.
Then you
It's-
turn
it's-
around and
it's
be like,
for
oh, it was
somebody to
Bucky
know
Barnes.
that
Okay,
they've
so
been
Barnes is dead. Look.
That car crash has fed a lie to you. Somebody lied to you about the car crash. The truth. Tony Stark should have been forward of upcoming about, we have the Mind Stone and we're working on it. Set more geniuses and better tech. Maybe even somebody like Doctor Strange, somebody mystical that could have been like, I may have a little information on this thing. Because Wong clearly knew about all that shit. Wong was like, oh yeah, the Infinity Stones. I know all about them shits. I'm here in Manhattan, bro. I'm like a couple of blocks from you. Come down. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying is both of them were wrong for not sharing information they should have shared.
Literally.
Yeah.
Cap
Stark
didn't
Tower was
have
like
all
really
the
close.
information.
Yeah, I'm saying.
All right. So
tell me,
Let's
what
open.
if Cap? Here's the difference. What if Cap said, Tony, Winter Soldier killed your parents, and Tony went okay and did what he always does. Don't tell anybody. Goes off, finds the Winter Soldier.
Joe.
Bucky's sitting there going, yes, I'm repentant. I did this. Iron Man kills him. Then we come to find out he was innocent. He was mind
brainwashed.
controlled. Now Tony has killed an innocent man that he could have learned to forgive, and now Cap is sitting there going, "Oh, you killed my best friend who was innocent." Now Cap is not just gonna beat his ass and leave the shield. Cap's gonna murder this dude.
You think
And
Captain
now-
murdered Tony?
Well,
Yes.
I don't-
Wow. Okay.
Dude, did you not see how much veracity he had in fighting
Oh, I
Tony
did.
to try to keep
I
Bucky
did.
alive? Now
He-
imagine
he-
Tony kills
He
Bucky.
could have. He could have. I mean, he looked like he was gonna kill him, but then he just took out the cord.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But what I'm saying, the outcome of giving information, partial information, is way worse than finding the information out and then trying to come up with a way to get both parties to sit down and look at this from an objective angle, which is hard to do. Which is hard
They're
to
both
do.
war
but
already.
It shows sleeping.
Yes.
Bucky
No.
gave
he's
gave
sleeping.
that old man.
Oh, I'm
He
not.
gave that
He
old
was
man a
out.
chance.
Oh, I'm not.
Even though I argue that point, Bucky gave that old man the chance to show for that man to see who Bucky truly is before he said anything.
Mhm.
And even then, whatever happened with them happened.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, he could have broken the screen or something? Like, he let it happen? Is that what you mean? Like, when he who's?
Oh, he's talking about when he told Nakajima.
Yeah. when he
Okay,
told
gotcha.
Nakajima,
That's what
he
he's talking about.
did
He's
it
talking about that
after
opportunity.
revealing himself as a person to this man.
Mhm.
Again, that wasn't afforded because Tony Stark did not want to hear it when he found out.
Mhm.
But giving him partial information beforehand does nobody any good. In the same way that in the last argument, if Tony Stark would have just went up and went, "Hey, world, I think we need to put a suit of armor around this place." They all would have looked at him and said, "Okay, cool. What's your plan?" And then he goes, "I don't know." That also does no good.
So wouldn't that everybody could come up with a plan together?
Exactly. What
That's
was
what
I'm
I'm saying.
saying.
Everybody
Had-
can come up with a plan, but at least you're letting them know, yo, listen, I got this. You
But
know, what do you want to do with it?
What was the fatal flaw? Tony didn't fully understand what he had. And what I'm saying, once Cap fully understood what was going on, there could have been a moment where they've come together and hashed the shit out, and it didn't need to lead to this.
And yet he found out the way he did. That one did.
Yep.
But
All right.
we forget that was based on Zemo and not like
Yeah. Zemo was a witness I was going to call, but the time got cut down.
Yeah. All right. So show we're gonna have to go into deliberation. We can't trust the chat to plead guilty or not guilty. 1 for guilty, 2 for not guilty. But it's gonna have to come between me and you, show. And since I can see that you have been listening voracically,
Yo,
we need.
look at what Pooty said in the chat. What is
Yeah.
the ESPN is going on here? You see, that's
Yeah.
what I felt like.
Yeah. So show what is your opinion on the matter? What do you think?
He's guilty. According to Lay, he killed Hiroshima. So he's guilty. I was listening to everything.
Like, since when did you say that Cap bombed Hiroshima?
No, oh my God. You say Nakajima and then you go left.
All right. Since obviously,
You know what? It's my fault. I
Yeah.
said that name way too many times.
yeah.
That was my bad. That's my bad.
Wow, Captain America bombed Hiroshima.
Yeah,
Wow.
and
No,
my-
it's funny 'cause all he called was the Chima part.
Yeah.
He didn't catch any.
He didn't even cast Naka. He didn't cast. He just
Didn't catch
just
Naka,
said
it goes
Shima.
Shima.
Our regards to Hiroshima.
Oh, God, yeah,
Yeah.
Captain America did not bomb Hiroshima.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Winter
apparently that
Soldier
was
killed Nakajima's son.
yeah.
Okay.
Appa-
That's what I
apparently
wanted to say.
apparently that was one of the Eternals who killed who bombed Hiroshima.
Yes.
But
That was the one that didn't make it. The Eternal that didn't make it.
yeah. This trial has brought forth pertinent information on both sides. Now, based off of the arguments on both sides, it is very difficult for me to come to a conclusion. Now, I can neither say the man was right nor the man was wrong due to certain factors of Tony Stark's personality and his mentality at the moment in time. And we can never question Captain America's veracity. We can never question his manhood, his integrity. And
His integrity.
that's what I said. His integrity.
Okay. Yeah, my bad.
Yep. Forgive the accent, you know. And Bucket Barnes at the
Killing
time,
Nazis.
yeah, Bucket Barnes at the time was under mind control from Hydra. But we cannot forgive that he has killed. His body has killed over 60 people. He was
His body.
Yeah, he was one of the greatest assassins in there.
His body.
Now we are judging a case of morality. What was right and wrong. Yeah. For me to say he was right or wrong based on the circumstances of the day, I would feel like I am cheating life. We would not know if he wasted. What's the Facebook? We would not know.
We did all this for nothing.
No,
Are you gonna say mistrial? Are you gonna say mistrial?
Yes. What I'm trying to say is, due to the arguments that were made of Tony Stark's temperament, one can say if he was knowledgeable to the facts beforehand, he might have went looking for Bucky for revenge. Because as a man, if I found out someone killed my mother, I would go after them also. The facts were not 100%. They were not proven to be 100% in Captain America's knowledge. He knows Bucky killed him. He doesn't know why he killed him. He did not know he was under control at the moment. So I would have to say that this trial would have to be bless you, show. And you said it so eloquently. I would have to say that this trial right here is the stalemate. We are the impasse.
Mistrial.
And we would this one cannot be concluded.
This is
Kangaroo
perfect.
court.
This is perfect. I'm telling you, I can't make up my mind on it, bro. I've been back and forth all day, but I did pick one.
Because the thing is, it's like the way it was brought to him, the information. There would have been a way for Bucky to tell him the same way he told Hiroshima after he bombed it. And maybe Tony could have accepted the information better.
Oh my God, Hiroshima, I love it.
You know? And also, who is Captain America to take away a future personal growth of Bucky? Because
You're right. That's a good point.
Bucky has a chance to grow and cope with the fact that
himself.
he may have not have been in control of his body when he killed these people, but it was him. And to settle his mind the same way he apologized to Hiroshima,
I love this.
he has to apologize to Tony.
I love this so much.
So a question of morality cannot be answered yes or no.
Called the mistrial.
So,
This
yes.
is so good.
Gotta
I'm sorry. That's a good way to end, bro. It's a good way to
gotta
end.
give props to Bucky, to Sergeant Bucky, for having the brass to man up to everything he did, even though
Yes,
it wasn't
yes.
him.
Accountability.
Because-
That's a next level kind of human being right
Yes.
there, man.
I do that at work all the time. I
If he didn't,
take responsibility for everyone's mistake. Not my colleagues, but you know, I sell cruises, so I do my job great. They get to the cruise and someone does something stupid in the cruise, nothing to do with me. But then when they come back, I gotta take the blame for it. This is, it is what it is. Accountability, bro.
yeah.
I will give that to Bucky. Bucky,
Yeah.
he went in stride and he was like, you know what, I did it. You know, whatever happens to me, I did it.
Because if he didn't, then that would show that he is not the man, or he is the man that killed everybody.
Can we just have a quick moment to just embrace the character arc of Mr. James Francis Buchanan? Like, bro, he just turned into someone completely different. It's incredible where he's at now. I don't know. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Side note, episode 4 of Hawkeye was fucking great.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Oh, yes.
But I'm not even talking about, I'm just talking about Clint, talking about Natasha and all the things that he was dealing with.
Bro, he is killing it. Like I said it last time, he is acting his fucking ass off. It's insane. Yo, that whole part, that whole scene. Marvel is at its best when people are just chilling, just talking shit. They really are. One of my favorite scenes from a controversial movie, Age of Ultron, is just when they're hanging out and trying to lift the hammer.
Yep.
It's a good scene. All of them have this. Even Endgame, when it's just Tony Stark playing paper football with Nebula. Like these moments are so good, and Jeremy Renner is crushing it. I'm so happy for him, man, because he's been underrated for a long time, and people just don't realize because he's overshadowed by Tony and Chris. You gave this man his own show, and I think he's acting better than I mean, not Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany's a fucking G, but like I think he's doing better than Wanda and like in her stuff. I think he's doing better than Buck. Maybe not Bucky, but like
Sam.
Sam. He is just
doing better than Star-Lord.
Well, everyone does better than Star-Lord.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's killing him. I'm so happy for him.
It's funny because I'm like, yo, if episode 5 is anywhere near as good as episode 4, this will be my second favorite Marvel thing. Period.
I'm hearing rumors that 5 is going to be the one where everybody's like, what the fuck just happened?
All right, so quick question. Does everybody have their tickets for Spider-Man?
Yeah, I have 2.
Nice.
Yes, I don't yet.
All right.
It might be too late, sir.
All right. So here's the thing.
I'll probably watch it Sunday.
If you don't see it before next week, our backup plan is all right. So if you see it before the next show, I would like to do a Spider-Man review next podcast.
The whole hell yeah.
If one of us can't see it, I'm not gonna.
Sylvia did.
Yeah. I'm not gonna include show in this, but show if you see it, you can do it. But
what
if one of us doesn't see it, then next week we will talk about Miles Morales because I want to deep dive into Miles Morales because I don't know fully about him. I know a little bit. I know a lot about a little bit.
Can you guys all please see it though? Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I would love
Sunday,
Miles Morales, and we could roll that in. We could roll in what we're gonna see in Spider-Man to Miles Morales. I'm not saying there's gonna be a connection, but the way the MCU has, and I don't know if anybody agrees with me, the way the MCU has presented Spider-Man is already very Miles Morales. I think so. It's like it's not Peter Parker. It's very different. So I know there's a lot of fan theories out there that's saying this will ultimately lead to Miles Morales. So we could do both, but please try to watch it. I have tickets for Thursday night and Friday morning.
We have tickets for Sunday, so
it's funny. That's probably what I'm aiming for. Yeah, but I'll go nice and early.
Oh yeah,
and get this. Sorry, I don't want to keep taking time. Tomorrow, Hawkeye episode 5. Thursday, Spider-Man. Friday, The Witcher 2, The Witcher season 2. I don't know how you guys feel about The Witcher, but that starts this Friday.
And also tomorrow we're gonna watch the first Matrix in honor of the Matrix 4 that's coming out. And Thursday we're gonna have the Knucklehead Wrestling Awards.
Sweet.
Yeah. Friday, the Toe in the Show like always.
And Saturday,
a very special Saturday, a Christmas feast where we will also have the Knucklehead Awards. The Knucklehead Awards, they have been voted on, and they will be given this Saturday. So it's a very special thing going on. The call up, Kenny from the call up will be there, and
what's is gonna be there?
The Pro Wrestling Podcast and Bleaks.
Bleak's gonna be there.
All of us. Krills will be there. Gigi can't make it. She can't make it, but she's gonna be there in spirit.
Shout out you, Gigi. We're gonna need you to send. We're gonna need you to send someone a acceptance speech when you win a very certain category.
Yes,
that is all you. It's all you.
Yeah.
We're gonna need something.
And like my boy Judge Toe Brown would say, and on that note, it's your friendly neighborhood knuckleheads signing out.
Sir.
Thank you, Judge Judy, the executioner.
That's right.
The whole time.
Yo, Cabs, can you stay on for like 5 minutes? All right.
Yeah. Let me get a little comfy though.
Do you think?
I don't want to strip in front of y'all.
Yeah, it's so good.
I'll leave the sound on so you can hear the squishes.
Nice.
Yeah. all this money